Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to tonight's rendition of the Collegiate R6. I'm Jared Barito Castiglione. Welcoming me back to the stage, so to speak, is none other than Clash main Brenner Bear Lad. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm just a little bit upset you just called me a Clash main, but I'm doing well.
You love the operator, and we're gonna see so much of it. You're super excited, I know. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the broadcast. We're going to be featuring a couple Rainbow Six Siege games. Not something uncommon for this Boise State stream, but something that I am fully diving myself head on into. And I'm super excited because the first game is going to be a thriller. Boise State University Broncos versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. And we're going to be facing off here in just a moment. But as we do kind of wait for that to get settled up, Brenner Bear, you got any predictions? What's going on? Any operators you're hoping to see? I know you're hoping for Clash.
Based off of what I've seen from the past games, I'm really hoping they ban Clash. She just really gets on my nerves. I'm really hoping to see a really good spawn peek from Sherb again like we saw last match. He really cleaned up shop with that, and I hope this University of Iowa can actually counter him too, because I want to see how he plays into that. So, and especially with the first map finally not being Villa like it was in the past, I'm super excited to see how our Boise State team plays out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we've noticed a lot in terms of trends, and we talked about this before the game started. Villa's kind of been Boise State's favorite in terms of maps, but as we're going to see here momentarily, it's actually going to be Consulate the first map. So it does offer a unique opportunity for a different setup, if you will. And as you see, of course, the Blackbeard man. As a man with the beard myself, I kind of take that one to heart. Thatcher, not really surprised about to go away as well. And we do see the remaining bans. Boise State actually going to be picking up their first set of defensive bans here. What do you think is going to come out of these two defending bans?
Well, they went ahead and picked that Jaeger, which is not very surprising because he's a very strong op with his anti-nade, which means I wouldn't be surprised seeing the defenders going Wamig, seeing as he is the only other person who can be the anti-fragger.
Yep, it's important because a lot of the times people do say that if you don't have the opportunity to go Jaeger, well, mine's kind of just that watered-down version of that particular operator. So we'll have to see if that's what they do show here. Last second remaining, and it is going to be actually Echo. So interesting ban, but
yeah,
I mean, it does offer an opportunity for that Wamai to be picked up, and we'll have to see if that's kind of the play style that either of these teams want to go forward with.
Yeah, the Echo ban was pretty straightforward here because he can deny the diffuser plant. He's a very strong op, and unless our Boise State team was going to run IQ, he is very hard to counter at that point. But it looks like we are going to run that IQ as well, the Thermite and Buck Sledge as well. And they are going to take that Wamai, as I said earlier, and the Nomad, as well as the...
This is interesting.
What's up?
It's a little bit interesting because we often talk about when you have these heavy breachers or soft breachers, whether or not you're just going to wait for those final two, minute or so to go in and kind of get, jiggy with it, if you will, or if you want to continue to use your aggression by able to go through those walls. Do you think that the lineup here from the side of Iowa is able to deter that kind of forward pressure from Boise State with this lineup?
I think definitely with both the Ella and Legion traps, if they breach through, they can easily just throw one of those traps on the possible window or door that they go through and give a lot of information, as well as the Valk cams will provide a lot of scouting and possible peek as well for the Iowa team. And as well as we're defending the Consulate second story site, I'm curious to see who they have as their roamers as well.
I always love watching this because I was able to tune into last week's stream. This almost looks similar to that of an XCOM game, this initial setup phase, until we get, of course, into the action phase of things.
Yes.
Do you feel like with the way that things are breaking out, these reinforcements, anything standing out to you in terms of something that might be weird? I know a lot of the demolitions that they're doing to the walls themselves are intentional. Do you kind of take a second to explain why they would be destroying their own reinforcements?
So they're not necessarily destroying the reinforcements, they're destroying the soft walls in between sites, so they have a rotation between them, rather than running through the doors, which provides sight lines through hallways for our Boise State team to get a quick pick off of.
There goes another reinforcement here.
Yeah, we see
Want to
Mew
make sure
putting
that they
all
are
of
able
his
to.
traps by the
Super
door.
smart.
Yeah, try to get rid of those
Putting it
drones.
next to the door, putting it where the vase might be, and even those little fragments of that ceramic material could disguise it a little bit enough to deter Boise State from going in, but doesn't look like it's going to do too much of a phenomenal job as Boise State seems to be moving in with a little bit of a plan here.
Yeah, so we'll see Ultrasense scouting out the entire basement, making sure that they have the Iowa University has no roamers, and it looks like they have none at the moment. It looks like they're all staying to that second floor. They might have the mute, possibly. No, not the mute. There's one person on the first floor that I saw is around yellow stairs. We see Boise State also push above garage towards that admin office rather than, or sorry, consulate office rather than administration. Getting these calls backwards.
And this is nice. This is a good opportunity for Boise State. Fox is in a nice position to maybe get some information for his team here. Grappling off the side is kind of dangerous, though. We often talk about how if you're in this position, if you don't get the peak first, you are a sitting duck in that window
I
frame.
lost all ears.
And we're going to see a
I don't hear anything.
little
right
bit of a a lot of talking here in the chat. You have some fellow fans of Clash, such as yourself, not really a fan of that particular operator. So no shields in Siege allowed, guys. Come on.
All right, so got back. Had technical difficulties on my end.
You're all good.
Okay, sorry.
It was the mute. I think the mute affected your headset. I think
Yeah, he's coming through the game now.
that's a kind of meta pick there.
Yeah, for sure.
And there,
So we see they're opening that site from bathroom, and we see Mute quickly picked off by Boise State on those yellow stairs. Sure, picking up the first pick of the game with that buck. And we see Wamai holding right outside that door. He did not go there to defend his teammate, and it looks like he doesn't even have a trap by the door to absorb that buck grenade. And he does get quick peeked by that buck as well, as Buck proceeds to push into the B-bomb, but he gets picked off by that Ella, who looks like she was hiding in the bathroom or hallway. But she was actually down the hallway, okay. And so we see Boise State try to get their member up as Sherp is just stuck right out in the open between those two sites. We see the Sludge go in looking, but he does get picked off when Fox quickly avenges his teammate, and Danny picks up a second. As they push this Ella, she is stuck in the corner, and they win the round for their team. Very fast-paced, aggressive push for Boise State.
and we talked about this. When it comes down to it, these last crucial minute, maybe even 30 seconds, is really when Boise State likes to strike. And it seemed that they had a plan in mind from the beginning of that particular round. What's their mentality going into the second one? Do they keep with the same plan, or do they mix things up a little bit?
Boise has always been a very aggressive team from the past that we've seen, so I wouldn't be surprised if they stick to their guns and go very aggressive towards the last counting down seconds, because that is usually when teams start to panic a little bit and be like, all right, they're either going to rush us or pull something off crazy like a miracle. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the exact same strat come out from Boise State, seeing as it worked for them just now.
Yep, they got themselves a first-round win, and as we just saw with that graphic, it is going to be the first to 7-round wins to take that particular match, and they're easily working towards getting the same setup. We didn't see a lot of changes in operators, and does this mean that they're going to go through with another of the same playstyle? Do you see any swaps here that concern you at all, Brenner Bear?
So our Boise State went with the exact same attacking team, but the defenders actually decided to switch it up and go Mozzie, Frost, and Doc. So it looks like they might be going for more of a anti-drone trap style, as they swapped out that Legion for the Frost traps, which will instantly down a teammate if they push through those yellow stairs again over that deployable shield that they placed last time. And we have the Mozzie try to recapture some of those drones to give their defending team a little bit more visibility, as they just got pushed over by their Boise State aggressiveness in the final round. So we see them running the exact same site and opening up the same rotations as well.
What do these particular setups mean for Iowa? Are they playing too conservatively, or do they have to eventually meet Boise State on that same level playing field in terms of pressure?
I think they definitely should meet him at the same level of pressure. They never had a roamer last round, and even if they did, he got picked off very quickly and just got quickly scouted out by our Boise State drones, as they've just been roaming this map, taking control of the first 2 floors, leaving only Iowa to hold that second story. And so once again, we see the Nomad closing off those main entrances in case of a peek, even though Iowa has been strictly staying to the second floor.
Mm-hmm. And I do really appreciate this level of caution in proceeding with this first floor. And that just means that they're waiting. Oh, a nice shot here, taking out that crucial surveillance roller car, RC car, whatever you want to call it. Making sure to deny that.
We see
Ooh, and
Danny
a
get a
nice.
quick pick on the one dock roamer that Iowa has, so that should establish some dominance of the map for our Boise State team, as Danny goes ahead and shoots some of the gadgets through the floor with his IQ gadget.
What a fantastic gadget at that as well. Does this mean that Iowa should change a little bit of their plan of action? They set up this defensive front, but Boise State is picking it apart gadget by gadget. Is it time for them to just move operations somewhere else, or what does Iowa do in this situation?
Well, we see Ella just drop through that hatch and does get the pick onto Bug, but we see Danny quickly avenge him, as well as Ultrasight getting a grenade kill before we see him taken out. So far, Boise State doing quite well as they push onto the B bomb site, with the remaining members of Iowa holding the other bomb site.
It looks like a defuse is
see,
coming out here from the side of Juke as well.
And he gets it off, and it looks like Boise's just going to hold their angles and hold site, putting all the pressure onto Iowa, but he is picked off by the Nomad, leaving everything down to Frost. She does come up behind the Danny and does take him out, but that leaves the 3v1 here, so we'll see if this Frost can pull it out for her team.
Oh, so close.
Sadly.
Gets the +1, but a remaining quad to get from the side of Iowa means that they do not take round 2. Boise State in a very comfortable-ish 2-0 lead. From your perspective, though, is a 2-0 really something that is comfortable in terms of competitive play?
For the time being, I would say it is, just because you're establishing that you're, the dominant force here. You're very aggressive. They're taking over the map and just kind of owning the first site that they push for. Whereas Iowa's just been kind of playing scared, holding site, and if they do have a roamer, he goes out by himself and is just quickly picked off without scouting the areas he's going through. Whereas Boise is being very methodical about everything they do.
And it does look like they are possibly switching things up for the side of Iowa again in terms of operator. Does this mean that they're going to go into this with a different plan of action? And again, every time that they get set up, this IQ Danny's doing a phenomenal job picking apart that defensive gadget advantage that these operators on the defensive side are able to offer. What does this mean for Iowa? What do they need to change to get a round in their favor?
So Iowa actually went for a different bomb site, and it looks like they went full anchor mode with both Cade and Bandit electrifying those walls just to give them a harder hold on their site. But right now it looks like the Doc is actually going to get the hatches and possibly roam for his team and maybe able to get a quick pick or two to even the score so his team can have an advantage. And curious to see how else they reinforce this area.
It's actually crazy. You and I were just talking about how Bandit and Cade can work together, but it's not often seen. And yet here we are, Iowa's being brought to that kind of synergy to see if they can get a round in their favor. It's kind of cool.
For sure is. And I'm curious to see what Boise does to combat this, because it looks like they don't have any operators that can counter this electricity. With Danny, he just going to IQ. He's going to have to take power of that first floor to be able to get any value off of his gadget, with the Thatcher being banned and no Twitch.
Besides the operator switch, though, with this bomb site switch, what other challenges does Boise State face?
They definitely don't have the verticality they had before. They were pushing through windows, holding angles on to this Iowa team, but now they can't do that on this basement site as there are no windows to even look through. So it is all going to be just groundwork and possibly pushing through the garage if we see it possible. But it looks like this Ella is going to be on the second floor roaming for her team, as well as the Doc. So it looks like Iowa's definitely trying to take more presence in the map against our Boise State.
And this is the LA you're speaking of, Killaforte, the last one left alive in a round prior, maybe able to pick off a Boise State member to give the man advantage over to their team. But again, we do have to kind of wait for these last 50 seconds to go by before things really start heating up in terms of action.
Yeah, and I'm also really surprised the Ella ended up taking the shotgun over her Scorpion, which is the most favored gun, and we see Nomad get the pick onto Duck once again as he's roaming and just not being aware of his surroundings, it looks like. So that gives Boise State more comfort, but they're still missing out that one final roamer, so they still need to play on top of their game.
I do, again, like how both teams are recognizing that there's an opportunity for a pick potential here. Killaforte might have been unseen, but Boise State not knowing.
Go up.
Right. He doesn't want to alert anyone on Boise State's presence, but a minute remaining, who's going to pull the proverbial trigger in terms of action here as just 60 seconds remain in this round?
Yeah, so we saw them take out the Cade trap through the floor with Danny's trap, but we do see Fox picked off after he opened up that garage entrance for Boise State, evening up the teams here for both sides. And we do see Juco immediately get the revenge pick onto that Cade, eliminating one of the electricity guards that Iowa's had, so that leaves it all up to the Bandit. As we see Boise State begin to push onto this side, we see two of them immediately run in and go for the plant. We see Danny take out that Bandit as well, which leaves both the Ella and Mew last to defend the site, but they are both off of sight, as we see Mew, the only one being able to push Diffuser in a tight spot as the remaining Boise State get to hold outside and have the advantage here.
This is such a precarious spot for Killaforte. If he does peek, it's not going to be beneficial for him. A little bit of time left.
They do down Danny
available
as well, so that
oh my
last
goodness.
two, Ultraslane getting the double and winning the round for his team.
It was a fantastic play. Boise State, knowing that they had the pressure advantage on that particular bomb, had the diffuser planning, forcing Iowa to respond, and then everyone here saw how many angles of defense they were able to provide themselves, even with a injured member, still able to secure that round, and a 3-0 lead going over to Boise State.
Now, Boise's been playing really aggressive and been doing really well in taking care of the map control. They've been just absolutely owning it and narrowing down where those last remaining members of Iowa are, so they can just push to OBJ and get the diffuser down.
Interesting, a Goyo and a Wamai being picked up with the Mozzie. Oh my goodness, this is correct me if I'm wrong, pre-nerf Mozzie right now. So that's super shorty. It could be potential. If they're able to get this Mozzie in a good position, that's going to do a tremendous amount of work for them.
Iowa's as well going to go for a possible 6 pick off of that Vigil, who's most classically a roamer. So I'm curious if they're trying to go for more of an anchor style here but they're going to swap back to Iowa. Worked out for them last time.
They were able to get themselves safely into position. I do have to concern they don't have, I guess, the dock to get easily picked off this time, and maybe it's just more of a matter of calling things out. But they switched back to this third floor bomb site, so Boise State just kind of has to go back to what they were doing before.
Yeah, and they did, and it looks like Iowa did swap it up with both the Alibi and Goyo, which are definitely more of a anchor style operator. And so with Boise only changing out the Buck for the Ash, I'm curious to see how they now attack this site without having that Buck and his grenades, which were so strong for Boise last 2 rounds.
Doing a little bit of paperwork here, clocking out for the day. Oh no, actually no, Brapton just clocked in for the round, and he's got to be able to stay clocked in. No lunch breaks for you until you get a round in your favor. As Iowa tries to set up
with this super shorty, your favorite thing.
It's incredible. I'm just waiting for the clash, okay? Let's be honest.
I mean, they didn't ban it, so they could run it if they wanted to. She would be a very good operator in this situation for their team.
Heed my words.
Taking out one of the Nomad traps, which means she only has 1 remaining, which might allow for this Iowa team to get possibly a run out and peek, knowing that one of her Nomads is completely gone.
One of them being gone. What does Boise State need in this kind of situation? Being forced to go from the bottom basement back up to the 3rd floor, it's got to be tiresome. mentally as well as physically, you got your fingers, your digits moving so rapidly. What's the mentality behind these players on Boise State as they're going into this round?
It should definitely be slow and steady. Iowa has been trying to change their plays around to take more map control, or at least hold half of the map on their end where the bomb site is. So it looks like Boise State's definitely going a lot more slow, more methodically, droning out where they go, playing it safer for sure. And we see they do scout out one of the members of Iowa who looks like he might be hiding in the bathroom possibly. So we'll see if Danny can get this push off, but he's actually picked off. So we'll see how they respond as they push up yellow stairs into sight.
It's a nice play here. Getting the takedown on the drone, super important because it doesn't get you the ability to scan. But after that, getting that pick as well. Iowa's showing signs of life here in this 4th round.
Yeah, they're definitely showing that they want to take the win, as we see Fox actually miss one of his flashbangs out the window. And we see Sherb on Skylight looking to get some entry point into this site from yellow stairs, taking out that Goyo trap as well. But Ella was actually scouted in main hallway for the 2nd story, giving Ultrascent that possible grenade pick as we've seen in the past.
And you do feel as if Iowa has proverbial walls closing in around them as Boise State moves in tandem. Gets a pickup. Juke going to take out Fear Knight here as they continue to push forward onto these bomb sites. Going to go for maybe the disarm on this bomb here. Juke's going to be a few seconds away from getting it planted. And it starts, and the timer begins now.
Yeah, we saw Sherb get the headshot onto Wamai as well. And another one onto their Ella.
Oh my goodness.
But Fox is quickly revenge picked off by the Mozzie as she was just standing in front of that window for everyone to see. And we see this Mozzie try to push onto site, trying to figure out where our Boise State members are, as well as the alibi, leaving the last 2 members of Boise State.
Oh my goodness!
Being picked off, leaving everything down to Juco, who does take out the defuse, leaving a 1v1 as they only have 8 seconds remaining. I believe that is not enough time for the diffuser. It's going to come down to the wire here, but he gets picked off anyway. Boise State playing really well with the aggressiveness and time here.
Yeah, Boise State securing the 4th round win for them, but this is the first time that it's been that close at Iowa. Keeping things, infrequent, mixing stuff up, even with that 6th pick, making sure to keep Boise State on their toes. They almost get themselves around in their favor. So beyond what they've already done, what does Iowa need to continue to do in order to maybe get a 1 in that 0 spot right there?
I would say play the unorthodox. Our Boise State team is always going to be running about the same 4 ops, which has been the IQ, Thermite, Nomad, and Sledge. So
you say unorthodox and smoke comes out immediately.
Yeah, we see both the Vigil and Smoke change up, but we see the Mozzie, Alibi, and Wamai stay as they did get value for their team last round. But we might see that Smoke be 6 picked out to a castle? That'll be interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting, actually. Wait.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh. Okay.
Go
What's
back
happening?
and forth.
He just wants to juke us.
I mean, keeps us on our toes, right? It's like we're playing.
Mm-hmm. It's important. So this is the bomb site that they've had the most success with, I guess you could say, considering how close that last round was. Is it important for them to keep it here? Right, they're adapting, which is important.
Yeah, that's very good for them. Hopefully they'll be able to pull out at least a win and not get 7-0'd by our Boise State Broncos. But we do see Castle taking on all of those windows where Boise State has gotten so much value in the past. So that's going to change up Boise State's attack. So I'm curious to see how they adapt with this new Castle pick.
And just for those joining us at home, you are watching the Collegiate R6 Boise State Broncos versus the Iowa Gold Hawkeyes in Rainbow Six Siege. As you can clearly tell, you guys know this game. And for those not familiar with the rules specifically, it is the first one to 7 will take this away. So Boise State nearing completion on that mission objective. Iowa Gold trying their best to stay themselves alive.
Yes, we wait here to see what Boise State's approach to attacking this bomb site is with these new operators on the defensive side. You see them stroll around the roof, peek through skylight on yellow stairs as they have in the past, seeing
Ooh.
that Wamai as well, seeing if this Ash on the roof might be able to pick him off, as well as the two members of Iowa on the first floor again, and we see Danny through the basement, slowly making his way up and through.
Up and through very carefully as well. You can see how methodical things have become despite having a 4-0 lead. Boise State not throwing things haphazardly in the face of Iowa. They want to respect these players, and that's how you do so. Danny getting a nice one, but a fair trade. Does get injured here. Is he going to be able to save himself is the question.
So in these competitive matches, they have points turned off. So this alibi doesn't know that she downed Danny at this point.
Oh,
She just knows
wow.
that she got some really good shots on him. So Boise State might be able to pick up their member as well as pick off this alibi, or Danny might just bleed out here. So I'm curious to see what happens in this situation.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade for Iowa is phenomenal here at this point in the game because the less man disadvantage you have, the better, right?
And the pick on the IQ is going to be a huge deal, so she won't be able to pick off Iowa's gadgets through the floor as she has been in the past. So if they're able to... Oh, and he does fall. Looks like Alibi will go back and finish him off. So that evens up the teams, giving Iowa, hopefully, a boost of confidence to win a round.
Boost of confidence, but they did kill Killaforte, who by record has the second best score on their team. Fear Knight doing his best to be that anchor, so to speak, for his team. But trades across the board, going to be eliminating players across everywhere. Sherb is the only one for Boise State, and he has to turn tail as there's 3 members of Iowa holding a golden defense on this bomb site.
Yeah, and they have Diffuser on site, so that puts a lot of pressure onto Sherb to get onto the site, get Diffuser, and get it down, unless he thinks he can get a 3K here. I'm interested to see how he pushes the site as
crazier
one member
things,
was
right?
behind that shield. Oh, there's one.
Attackers have located a bomb. 10 seconds to go.
All right, so it looks like he's gonna have to do the plant right now if he wants to be able to win this round for his team. And he
my
doesn't
goodness.
pick, so he's planning now. Puts us into overtime. This Mozzie having to push and winning the round for his team.
Mozzie coming in big. I mean, what can I say? When you call him as you see him, but a fantastic play from Iowa getting that 1-for-1 trade on this IQ. Boise State using that particular operator to do what they can to dismantle that defensive front. And once that was out of the question, Boise State didn't really have the opportunity to move forward safely.
Yeah, I think once they downed Danny and were not able to pick him back up, I think Boise State was definitely on their back foot, not having map control there, as we saw them all began to push in at once and just taken out by the members of Iowa, which should give them a confidence boost and see if this match goes a little bit longer.
Will we actually see this gridlock locked in? I think we might.
Boise State likes their gridlock. I have played with them before, and they think she's pretty funny. So I'm curious to see how they play with her in this matchup, as we see Iowa not going Wamai for one of the first times. So she will be able to get her chops off where she wants, as well as that Nomad. And it looks like they're going to 6-pick away from that Mozzie into a Vigil as well.
Right. Interesting. So what's their plan of action with these kind of operator loadouts? Boise State, their plan seems to continue to be consistent. What is Iowa adapted to now?
So it looks like they definitely adapted to taking control of the map, as that worked out really well for them last round with that alibi hiding in bathroom right next to main entrance. And with this gridlock, it looks like they're just going to try to court off a whole area and just push into sight. So I'm curious to see how Boise State combats this newfound confidence in Iowa.
You see the players again of Iowa Gold. These Hawkeyes trying to get that 20/20 vision that a bird would often have, I think. The eagle eye. Hawkeyes, eagle eyes are probably comparable in performance. They want to spot Boise State as they're both birds. Birds are cool, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey man, they do a lot of work. They're definitely not government spies or anything.
The birds are totally real.
Totally, 100%.
And speaking of real, though, Iowa has a real chance of taking this back in their favor. It's only round 6, and they just clenched up a win in almost commanding fashion against Boise State.
Yeah, and once again, we see this Ella on the second story where she was the previous round. They went basement. And however, they did lose that. She did get a lot of scouting value for her team with this shotgun and not the Scorpion for once. And it looks like she's going to be looking out that window right where a member of our Boise State team is. So I'm curious to see how this plays out between the two members as he goes
This could be.
upside down on that window.
This could be clutch. This could be a big moment here for both teams. Whoever gets the advantage here could be a really big advantage at that.
Yeah, we see Boise State try to shoot through the floor and be able to get rid of those electric traps that Iowa's put onto those garage doors so they can run in, get the defuse, and take it out for their team. But we see Sherb actually pick off that Vigil who was roaming around on the first floor. But quickly tips the favor into Boise State's side. I'm curious to see if this alibi is able to pick off Sherb, who's been hanging out that side window looking to jump in.
This is here to place a delivery order. This delivery is pain. Nice dodge here on this drone, giving Boise State a little bit more information that maybe Iowa wants. Finally taken out is a good call. Any more information than that could be dangerous. You just got to land the shots that matter.
And we see Sherb does get picked off by that alibi, but we see Danny get a return elimination onto the alibi. Still, Boise State down one member with Ultrasen only having about 10 HP remaining.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe one stray bullet would take them out, but this is kind of the do or die situation. 40 seconds remain. This is when both teams want to be able to test their mettle, have that resolve, as they know, again, action will soon be coming.
Yeah, this is definitely the moment where we see Boise State play towards their aggressive side that has been winning for them. But we see JUCO actually taken out by the Cade, evening up the teams here.
Oh my
and
goodness!
As well as the Ella just taking out a member of Boise State, but he's also taken out by the Fox, who is pushing onto site, leaving him in a 1v2 situation, as well as very low and high, as they know exactly where he is on Yellow Stairs, and he is taken out by Iowa State University.
And another fantastic round from the Iowa Gold players. Again, they were able to adapt themselves to kind of figure out maybe possibly the Boise State plan. We've kind of talked about how a lot of these operator picks give them an anchor, an extra anchor, or just full on negating Boise State from using a whole access point. And this is the second round win for them. This could be something. This could be signs of something forward to tell.
Yeah, and we do see signs swap here. So
pick the lion. Pick the lion. No.
As badly as you want that lion, we're actually going to see Boise State on the defensive now, picking the Mira as well with this Archives and First Floor Tellers site. We have not seen them do this before, so I'm curious how they approach the site with the enemy team going Zofia Twitch, as our attacking Boise State has not done in the past. But we're going to see Danny do a 6-pick on a Pulse, as well as Fear Knight 6-pick from Thermite to Sludge, removing their hard breach opportunities.
What's the rationale behind that? Because Sledge is often picked as a soft breacher. Why would they opt off not having that hard breach as the Thermite?
My guess is they're going to go very hard scouting and hard rushing. The Zofia, the Nomad, the Sludge, and IQ are all very faster operators. They can section off areas and just keep pushing towards their OBJ. So I'm curious to see how they attack this site with Boise State going to a site that doesn't need a whole lot of hard breaching in the first place.
Right. Well, I'm just happy we see the Pulse, if we're going to be honest.
I think you wanted the Lion more.
I want the Lion. I always want the Lion. How can you not be excited? Lion's cool. The name is a lion.
He's not really a lion. He's just a name.
That's fair. That is fair. And it is almost a fair game here, as I was able to get themselves 2 points. First one to 7 wins, but you got to win by 2. And if this lead continues to only be the 2 deficit, then it's going to be a struggle for Boise State to walk away with this one.
Yeah, we see Mira just holding down those first the basement site, and we see the rest of the team holding the first floor site. It looks like both members using their super shorty, getting a lot of value, getting a lot of sight lines for their team as Danny scouts out the Iowa team, trying to find out where they're breaching
So
in.
good. Probably one of the best sounds in the game, too, if we're going to be honest.
It is very nice, just the constant ticking and eventual, when you find them, you get them.
Yeah. Ooh. Now, with this lineup from Iowa, I mean, we talked about how Boise State wants to defend this. How does Iowa want to go into this attack phase for them?
So they're definitely going to need a lot of scouting. We see Boise holding off the second floor admin with both the Castle and Valkyrie, as one of the members of Iowa is directly outside with the diffuser, no less. But it looks like he's going to go around outside as well and just completely avoid both of them in there, as they've been just droning out trying to find where the members of Boise State are. Here we see the Twitch slowly pushing towards admin as she knows that two of them are in admin. Seeing if she can get some quick picks value, as well as the Nomad falling behind her. See our members of Boise State, as well as Mozzie. It's quick engagement here, but no pick.
Nice
He does get the
call.
pick under Nomad, though, as they split up from where they were in that side room, leaving the Twitch the only presence on the second story, with IQ and Fear Knight trying to get some value for their team.
That was a good call from Sherb, though, to know that they were trying to get a flank opportunity, pulling the attention from one side, retreating into line of sight, and then going to the other side. But unfortunately for him, Killaforte will finish off the remaining bits of health bar he had, evening it up, and it's only 4 operators versus 4 here in this 7th round.
Yeah, we'll see both Valkyrie and Castle drop through that hatch and just abandon the second floor site, leaving IQ to have all the roaming power in the world that she needed up there, as they have to now hold their angles and wait for the Iowa State to get aggressive and push them. And here we see IQ actually getting value through the floor, with Sludge just opening up the roof, allowing all the sight lanes onto this Boise State team, as the rest of the remaining members seem to be in the basement, giving Iowa the first floor site. We see Danny get the C4 through the
that
floor
actually
with Pulse.
worked?
Yes, sir. It is a very good drive with the Pulse that we have seen before. So big hats off to Danny for that play. But it does leave them to push through either both set of stairs onto that bomb site if they want to win this round. Danny very low with health, and Fox slowly proceeding through hello, but it looks like he is going to get picked off, leaving everything up to Danny, but with no health bar remaining, he is picked off by the Zofia.
And Iowa figuring out that they have their plan of action. They got to play the game their way. They're able to nearly tie this up 3-4. Boise State barely in the lead. The question then becomes, what changes does Boise State make? And what does Iowa need to continue to do right?
Definitely hold control of the map. They scouted out very well, find where the roamers of Boise State are, and then attack them at their positions. And they did really well with no hard breaching, but it looks like Boise State's actually going to change the site onto second floor and have a different strategy with the Mute, Castle, and Legion, and Wamai.
Wamai, a good pick up here, as we talked about how with him being open and Jaeger kind of being by the wayside through the ban phase, he's pretty much the second best pick here for that particular role. But they are continuing to stick with the Sledge, so not wanting to go for those harder breaches. And we saw how much work he was able to do just hammering down the floor.
Yeah, so he won't be able to do that anymore with Boise State taking the second floor site. So I'm curious to see what their attack plan is now that Boise is no longer at an angle to where they can get value through the roof. We see them open up that rotation between A and B sites, as well as Castle just completely sectioning up yellow stairs, as well as some of the windows around B site.
10 seconds to insertion.
I think there could be arguably a good mod for Rainbow Six Siege where your whole objective is to completely renovate a building. Take down the natural walls that were originally built and replace them with these giant metal reinforced walls.
And that's why we have the house map. It's just there to renovate. It just happens to also be, you know, an operation going on between. two teams.
Exactly. Now, talking about renovation, Iowa Gold seems to have that floor plan set up for success as they are able to get 3 unanswered rounds almost in a row, if not completely in a row, with little trouble. What renovations do they need to do to that floor plan to continue the success?
As I mentioned before, just absolutely owning the visibility and control of the site outside of the site. Once they clear out first floor and basement and they know that this is free areas for us to roam, they can begin picking through the floor with their IQ and getting a lot of value from the Twitch as well, who can destroy their cams and equipment with her drone. But we do see Kills, who does get a quick pick onto Fox, removing those lesion traps for the rest of the match, so they only have the few that he was able to put out while he was alive.
Unfortunately, not as many as they would want to at this point in the game. You gotta be careful as Juco wants to get as many of these walls taken out, not giving Fear Knight the opportunity to sledge those down as well. And that's exactly what he wants to be looking to do.
And we see the Juco looking for a run out as well, as Iowa never took out the outside cam on the front of the building, but it looks like they are playing garage side, so he's not able to get a run out, and he actually gets picked off by the Nomad, who is rappelling lower than he thought. Bringing it now 3-5 for Boise, as they are just slowly getting members picked off left and right.
KLS really stepping up in terms of landing those bullets on what they need to, and they found both bomb sites, so now they get the pick of the litter for which is more opportune for them. If you were Iowa, what bomb site would you go for?
Definitely B, seeing as they're already on it, and get a pick onto Ultrascent, who is trying to defend the bomb site, leaving only 2 members of Boise remaining against the full team of Iowa. But we do see Danny manage to get at least one of them off, but Iowa does get the plant off with Sledge behind the desk. And we see Sherb get a pick onto the KLS, who was their star player, but he is then quickly revenge picked off, leaving it all up to Danny, but he is shot in the back, and Iowa takes the 8th round.
It was a good play here from Brapton as he does catch Boise State kind of off guard here. The nice rotation, I guess, from one floor to another as Boise State was putting a lot of their attention on that B bomb site. But again, now things are tied up, and it's an entirely different game for Boise State. They, at the beginning of this game, were so much, I guess, more cohesive, but now that Iowa's had some time to digest this kind of battle strategy, they're able to continue to walk away with a round after round. What changes does Boise State need to make to get one back in their favor to kind of uneven the tie?
It looks like they're definitely going for more of a harder hold with both the Bandit and the Goyo, trying to section off these aggressive Iowa plays that they've actually been going up against, as well as we see both the 6th pick of the Clash and the Thermite here.
Oh, yes!
So we're going to have some interesting plays coming up if they manage to stay with this Clash.
I'm so happy right now. I know you're not, but I definitely am.
We're going to hear some angry noises coming from that woman, so I'm curious to see how they play her out and if she's able to hold off this Iowa team from breaching this B bomb site and planting once again. As we see,
she's
Boise
not angry.
going for...
She just keeps stubbing her toe. That's what's going on.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And we see this time, for the first time, Iowa opting for the Thermite. What's the difference? Because the Sledge has been doing so much work for them previous. Why would they switch?
My guess is they're going to try to go for maybe a push through yellow or spiral stairs and just breach through one of those soft walls that Boise's reinforcing right now. But surprisingly enough, it's like Boise State's reading their minds as they went with the Bandit to counter that Thermite. But at the same time, Iowa's been running a Twitch, so I'm surprised that they still went with the Bandit, even though he can be so quickly countered.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how this plays out for both teams.
KLS trying to do some scouting, give them a little bit of information as to where the Boise State members are, and Fear Knight doing the same, but from a different side of the building entirely. Boise State's got a nice, comfortable setup here as they just eagerly wait for the Hawkeyes to swoop on in to their clutches.
Yeah, and it looks like two of the members of Boise State are actually holding in admin or somewhere else on the map, as only three of the members of Boise are on site, but it looks like Danny's able to get a pick onto that Twitch, removing their ability to get rid of his bandit traps. So it looks like their hard breaching's just become even less viable than it was before.
So if you were Iowa, would then Sledge just be ultimately better in this situation, considering you don't want to? You're kind of getting so many opportunities to hard breach eliminated by getting picked off. Would Sledge just ultimately be better because soft breaching would be more of an opportunity?
With how they've been scouting out Boise and everything, and with all their hard breaches, I don't know if Sledge would get much value, but they have been just playing better with him in general. So you should definitely just play the ops you're more comfortable with at that point. So I'm curious to see how Iowa plays the rest of this out, and if they can get good value out of the Thermite over the Sledge. Here we see Thermite on the window just outside of sight, looking for an easy pick onto Boise State, but he does not see the clash directly to his right as she's pushing the window, trying to keep him at bay. Danny gets another pick onto the Iowa team as they are just not aware of his roaming capabilities.
Attackers have located a
Yep.
bomb.
And I think that Ultra Set is more than comfortable just sitting here. A triple going over to Danny, but he does finally get picked off. And Fear Knight going to be the one to do so. But at this point, it's 2 versus 4. It's a lot of reservation and a lot of calm, cool, collected mentality that Iowa Gold has to have in order to secure this one in their favor.
Yeah, we see the IQ trapped in the bathroom right now as the remaining members of Boise State know she's in there, and the last member outside of the site with his diffuser as well. So it really comes down to how can they push through this and get the picks on Boise to win this round for them. But actually we see the diffuser go down, which leaves all the pressure for this IQ as she sees the clash pushing towards her. So if she doesn't get out that window right now, she is dead.
Goodbye.
10 seconds.
Wrapped and
So,
run.
hey,
It's
Fast
Clash.
Man,
You have to
she
be
can just
careful.
take you out, and we see Fox get the final elimination for his team and win the round, finally
I'm so
breaking
happy.
this losing streak that they've been on.
If
Tell
it
you,
was
man,
anyone
Clash,
but Clash,
she's
I
the game
think
changer.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe they would have had opportunity to get a nice +1 there and maybe do another set of 1v1s afterwards, but the shield just denying so much of that damage. Maybe that's the rotation and that swap that Boise State needs to make. If we have to see more Clash, I guess I'll be okay with it.
I think you're hiding your excitement a little bit too much, but it's okay.
Oh,
This is your
yes! Just play
Looks like
Clash
you're gonna
and
go for
Lion.
Mira as well. Oh, nope.
Okay,
Swap back to
Castle?
Castle. All right.
All right.
Okay, so we're
I'm okay
looks
with
like they're
this.
going to go almost the same team as last time, but with Danny on the Bandit instead of the Pulse.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how they change it up. But 6 pick going back to the Clash as well as
Jackal
Nomad for the
too.
Jackal.
Interesting.
So it looks like Iowa
Interesting.
definitely fears Danny's roaming as they're going immediately for the Jackal, who can just ping Danny wherever he is if he finds his footsteps. So they're
Right.
definitely afraid of Danny now after that last round of him getting that triple.
I wonder if there's also something to note with the Cade Bandit combo again. With them working so well in tandem, is it something that Iowa Gold now has to fear? Because this is something that they even tried against Boise State with some moderate success.
Yeah, they did, however, end up losing that round as Boise pushed through Garage and managed to get the defuse off. So I'm
Right.
curious to see how Iowa combats their very own strategy with our little Boise twist of the Clash and Mira with it.
10 seconds.
We see them also
Question.
opening up the walls between A and B side.
Question in Twitch chat. What is the average rank of these players? As far as the Iowa Gold side, I don't know. For the life of us, we tried our best to do some scouting just to make sure, to see what's going on, get our information, because information is important when you're casting. But, Brother Bear, what is the average rank of these Boise State players?
I believe it's in the platinum, low platinum. So I believe that's like platinum 3-ish for the average. I'd have to ask because they've been playing a lot of ranked lately, so they might have gone higher
Right.
up last I checked.
Now, swapping the diffuser, is there any rationale behind doing so, or is this kind of a comfort thing per team?
It's usually a comfort thing for team, but they do scout out that they have the Clash again and loses a Twitch drone for it. So it's one lost asset for Iowa team, but we see two members of Boise holding second floor on the previous bomb site as Iowa pushes in from the other side and gets a pick onto
Ooh.
Ultrascent, who was busy barricading a door. He just took too long and got picked off by that Jackal. And we see Jackal able to scout one of the members of Boise State, and it looks like he's actually going to scout, doesn't say who, but we do see Juco
Doesn't tell
gets
us,
picked off.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish it did.
It's someone. It's definitely someone.
It's someone over there. They see where he is. He's over there.
They're somewhere alive, and you gotta hurt them. But that being said, Boise State's chances of winning this round, now with 2 down, they are kind of hurting. And they have to be very careful. This is not what you want to do. Danny Meeting, trying to get a nice rotation, gets picked off by Brapton, and a 2v5 lay before Boise State.
Yeah, we see Iowa just taking control of that second story where 2 of the members of Boise were, as well as just getting a nice cheeky pick onto Ultrascent, who has just taken too long to reinforce that door. And so we see him take out all the electricity through the floor for that garage opening if they want to go for the plant, leaving both Sherb and Fox to hold off all 5 members of Iowa.
This is nice. They're sending both sets of members in respect, different angles of attack here. So Boise State's really got to be on their toes to not get caught with their pants down.
Yeah, and Boise State doesn't even have the clash anymore, so they can even slowly hold them off, just leaving it up to the Mira and Mozzie. You see Mira trying to get a peek through her window, but she ends up getting flashbanged? Someone got flashbanged.
I don't know
Didn't last
how.
very long. But we do see
Uh-oh.
Kill Forte get the headshot onto Fox, and KLS gets the final elimination onto Sherb, winning the round, a flawless round no less. for Iowa.
Flawless. It's unfortunate they live and die by the clash. An early pick for Iowa Gold Hawkeyes mean that they were able to deny that huge defensive wall that is Ultraset on Clash. So does this mean that Boise State changes things up yet again to try and keep Iowa on their toes? Or do they just run it back?
With them still going cafeteria, they're gonna stick with that double electricity and maybe try to hold first floor over second floor, seeing as that's what they lost so quickly. But we're seeing the trade for Goyo and Legion now over the Mira and Clash.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Iowa sticking with the same team composition that they had last round. So I'm curious
It's interesting.
what they do after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mira's such a fantastic defender too, because those wall mirrors are phenomenal. You're able to scout, you're able to peek, you're able to be so flexible within the power of your role. So those just joining us again, this is the particular, I think it's the
Need to locate and defuse
5 to 5
We're on
right
round
now.
11.
I think it was the
Yeah,
round 11, 5 to 5. It's a fantastic meeting of the minds and mechanics in tonight's again rendition of the Collegiate R6 Boise State University versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. And Boise State, for the majority of the first part of this game, were running away with it, but Iowa Gold really taking that gold mentality and barely dropping the ball here as they caught it up 5 to 5.
yeah, Iowa's definitely come alive in this later game after losing the first 3 or 4 matches to Boise, who had a very strong early game but have been slowly just taken out by this Iowa team.
attackers objective.
And now with their exact same team composition as last round, with Boise changing it, I'm curious to see if these changes help Boise or not.
An interesting question for you, Brenda Bear. Where's the Frost? Where's the Dokkaebi?
My guess would be they're probably too easily countered with, we've seen Mute picked in the past, and Danny is actually picked off by that Jackal once again, removing the roamer, but we don't see Dokkaebi picked a lot because she's countered by Mute so easily nowadays, and she only gets so much value as she only has 2 of her pings available for her gadget. And then Frost probably hasn't gotten a lot of value out of the past when we see previous teams pick it, so I'm not surprised that they don't pick it anymore. And traps aren't really the best on basement personally, so I'm surprised that they
Right.
haven't been going for her.
And with Danny being eliminated, does Boise State drastically have to change their plan of defense here? Because without that particular set of abilities, skills, gadgets available, is it too detrimental for Boise State to overcome?
I think they just have to play a little bit more safe and closer to sight, as Danny was one of their main roamers who got a lot of value in the past with his triple kills we've seen in the past 2 rounds ago. So, and especially with Clash not getting picked off immediately and actually holding up her shield, she might be able to hold off this Iowa team if we are lucky enough. And we see them trying to hold off the thermite onto the garage door. They're able to get the electricity off without Danny on his bandit, leaving it all up to Juco with his K-traps.
It's got to be careful, as again, a lot of damage going over to right line, which is good for Boise State. And a lot of damage, Kill Forte running into that Clash barrier. By the way, that shield does damage, just in case you were unaware.
She's just that much more annoying. She slows you and damages you, and can't take damage from the front.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we see they do finally get open that garage wall and get the pick onto Clash as she turned her back to the enemy team, but quickly Fox and Juco get a double for their team, but Juco is then picked off by the thermite as they go for the plant behind white van.
Oh no.
We see one of the last remaining members sure picked off by Jackal once again, leaving everything up to Fox, who does get the revenge onto Thermite for his team, leaving both Riot Lime and KLS for their team defending that diffuser.
Can Fox do it? You got to be quick and slide. This brown Fox might be able to go forward and get a little bit of a tie up in terms of players. Not enough of a man advantage for him to maybe go for the diffuse. Disarm. 17 seconds remain. Is he able to clutch this up?
He's running out of time really fast, and in about 3 seconds he's not going to have enough time to get the diffuser off, so he has to push the enemy team and just gets annihilated by the last 2 members of Iowa. Iowa playing very strong
so much
on this
work.
attacking side.
Definitely agree with you, Brenner, as doing it. He's just been doing work. He's clocking in and clocking out. That's what I'm saying. Every time. He might be even working overtime right now, actually.
He's been doing a lot for his team. Fear Knight does have more eliminations than him, but he also just... Them together have been really strong, both that Thermite and the Jackal, as Boise State did not ban away the Jackal, which is a very common pick here. So I'm surprised with the Roamers and Danny getting picked off at the top of the rounds that Boise State might want to change up their strategy just a little bit with the Wamai and the Goyo going back to Clash.
Oh,
and
yes!
Going back to Sludge.
Another Clash. I just love Clash.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Do you love her because I hate her?
I think I'm strongly compelled to love her because you hate her, but that's not the reason why.
Alright, we see Boise State go for the second floor site once again as basement was not working out for them. Going for, looks like, same strat
It
as
did
before.
seem like they had a very strong hold, but the moment that Ultra Set turned away from where Iowa Gold was committed to pushing, gets that easy take out, and then once that happened, things kind of fell apart for the Broncos.
left before insertion.
Yeah, they showed a really strong early game presence, and then
5
they
seconds
won
remaining.
one of their defensive sites, but since then they have just been falling over to this Iowa team who have just been taking apart Boise State's strategies for these sites. And here we see Sherb on the alibi pushing towards one of their possible spawns, but it looks like he's just running back to site. Not going to get a cheeky pick.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Iowa Gold wins this, do they just win everything? Because it's best this whoever gets first to 7,
This
and
is
you got to be
match
2
point.
points
Yes,
ahead.
it is.
This is match point for Iowa Gold. My sincerest apologies. I forgot how to read. But that means that this is Boise State's time. They need to buckle down and clash up to tie this to stop themselves from being eliminated.
Yeah, this is definitely down to the wire for Boise State as they are on round 12 right now, and a possible win for Iowa Gold unless Boise State's able to finally click on some heads and hold off the defuse.
Siege or besiege, live or die by the clash. We will see as Boise State fights to stay alive as this round starts. Iowa Gold finding a bomb almost instantaneously.
Yeah, once they found out they were on second story site and not in admin, they knew exactly where that bomb site was because they're in fixed spots. But we see them open up both windows outside of office, and we see Clash open up spiral stairs as well, as one of the members of Iowa is outside on the rappel looking to get a pick through that door. But we do see KLS get a pick onto Fox with the headshot, and we see Juco quickly get a revenge pick onto Fear Knight, that sledge, as Kill Forte is actually on site, but they don't have diffuser, leaving Clash to just push him and possibly get it. But Kill Forte does get Juco, who is behind the Clash. So it's down to Clash as she's still holding the shield. We'll see Kill Forte try to knock away Clash's shield and get her toes. But right now, Clash is keeping good distance between them. But we see Danny come in and get the pick onto Kill Forte as she is too focused on that Clash. Here we see KLS pushing up those spiral stairs. So there goes their Clash. I'm curious to see how this 2v2 works out, as both final members have almost full health except for that Sophia, who is in the bathroom trying to push onto site, but no members of Boise State is actually on the B site, and they don't even have diffuser. So this puts a lot of pressure onto Iowa Gold to get diffuser and plant onto site, unless they think they can get the double elimination here and win the round, as well as the map for their team.
Oh, diffuser's not even on site, is it?
No, it's just outside the window. He was picked off, and we see Danny down KLS and finish him off on yellow stairs, leaving it all up to Sophia to get the diffuser and plant onto B site, leaving both members of Boise State not hearing that diffuser plant and going to have to run them into action as they quickly find out she is on site, putting a lot of pressure in this 1v2 situation. Sophia not even having full HP, putting her in a tough spot here. She does get Danny with a headshot.
Oh
and
my goodness!
As well as Sherb. She clutched it out right there for her team and won the map for them.
I could have sworn it was Danny's time to get a 4K, but no. Iowa just steps it up. The Golden Hawkeyes really show that with enough adaptation, with the plan of action and commitment to it, they can come back from a 4-0 lead. They take the game.
Yeah, Boise State played really well in the beginning, but Iowa, once they learned some of their strategies, began to just dominate that map, especially on the attacking side versus Boise State's defense.
And that will mean that the University of Iowa will walk away with a victory against our Boise State Broncos. But, Brenda Bear, that's not all we have today. We got some more games coming up, still within this R6 collegiate tournament. We're going to have Boise State versus none other than will be determined eventually.
We see here the graphic versus the University of Iowa Golden Hawkeyes.
Oh, we're going to a different map,
the second round. Yeah, it's best 2 of 3. So that was the first map. We're on to the second one.
And this
as we see the map being Clubhouse.
What does this mean for both teams? How do things differ from this and the previous map?
So we see the bans are different. Clash is banned out, so is the Pulse, and so is the Maverick instead of that Blackbeard before. So that changes up the strategy for both teams, as we see they use the Clash before as well as the Thermite, who is now here without the Maverick. Who did they ban? Oh, they blamed Blackbeard. That's right. Sorry.
I did see a Jaeger. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah, Jaeger's here now, and Pulse is now gone, so they can't do any C4 through the floor tricks. Clubhouse with a new map instead of what we were previously just on Consulate, and Boise as well still on attacking first with that gridlock that we saw in the past, and Monty taking over that shield roll Ultrasen since that Clash was banned away from him. And we see Iowa here actually on the defense with Mira on this site. So I'm curious to see how they play this out if they do end up mirroring that outside balcony right outside CCTV.
And you got to feel real happy about taking an entire map away from Boise State, because that puts you in such a monumental lead. When it comes from the perspective of a Boise State player losing the entire map when you were in such a early round lead, what kind of mentality shifts do they need to make for this next map coming up?
They definitely need to try and adapt to Iowa's just map control and scouting this. After that first round, Iowa totally adapted to Boise State, learned their strategies, and just best them at it. But we see Sherb get the pick onto KLS on this map as he was peeking towards construction or main site, it looks like. But here, we've never seen... Iowa hasn't seen Boise State with the Monty before. So as we see Monty push up towards that B site, unable to take damage from the front, he actually goes over that lesion chart, so he's going to have to back up and waste some time for Boise State's attacking side. As he just panics around, he finally gets it out of his leg and is able to begin pushing site once again, as he knows that they have an opening with the 1-my peeking onto the Monty.
So Iowa go doing what they can. It's got to be careful, though, because just like this clash, this Monty does so much in terms of directional defense. And they got to be careful as they continue to push forward here. Danny's looking for a nice angle here up these stairs, too.
Yeah, it looks like most of the members of Boise is actually pushing for that red stair push, but it looks like Boise State's actually going to get the breach onto that wall right outside CCTV or server room. So I'm curious to see how they begin to push this out with the mirror watching that door. Here we see the Gridlock shooting through the floor with her super shotty, trying to get some value for her team with a smoke grenade as well. Right on top of that mirror, great play by the Gridlock. See if Boise State can push through and get that plant as well, with Monty directly right outside the door getting flashbanged as well. Sherb getting another pick onto Iowa. He's up to a double right now. Can he ace the whole round? Have to wait and see.
Wouldn't that be something? Just coming on in and just getting 5K, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah, Boise State always does really well in the beginning rounds, it seems. So I'm curious to see how well they do here, as Ultrasense just holding off the mirror in the doorway. Fox getting a pick, denying that ace for sure, but does end up taking out that bandit as this Monty's in immovable force. The Spirit can just run around behind her as there's a giant door opening, but she is eventually picked off by Danny.
Wow.
And then Fox winning the round for his team, a flawless round for Boise State, playing really well.
To be fair, as much as we want to give MVP to maybe Sherb or Fox, Monty Shields the MVP there.
Shields have worked really well in Boise State's favor so far, so I'm curious to see if they keep this trend going.
It's possible. I mean, when it comes down to it, you got to be careful. With these shields are just so good for the way that Boise State likes to play, and if you're Iowa, what can you even play into that?
More traps. I mean, the
traps,
Legion made him back off.
Where's the frost?
We do see Boise instead. They switched their Monty players for Fox, and they're having Ultrasense go with the Kali to see if they can get more of a hard breach onto CCTV. But we're going to see the 6th pick for Wamai into Bandit as they have the Jaeger now. So that it's just a little bit less anti-nade now and more just hard defense. But we see Kali 6 picked into Sledge.
No,
So I'm curious to see.
Kali.
She was a very good anti-hard breacher, so I'm curious to see how she would have fared rather than this Sledge for this round.
I mean, a lot of times people play it for the sniper, right? When it comes to Kali, it's like mainly for the gun loadout.
Yeah, she's had some like invisible nerfs lately to where I've played against her and she doesn't one-shot down people anymore. So a lot of people have been scared to play her anymore.
Interesting. Lances are also pretty good though too. I don't know. I think she's cool if you're able to click heads, as you said before.
Yes. Then again, so is anybody, because if you're clicking heads, you're winning the game for your team.
And Iowa, despite having a large amount of momentum, gets again short stuff here in the early stages of the map. Boise State taking the first round, and they're looking to continue the trend.
Yeah, here we see, once again, Boise State looking to push that garage site, with Doc watching the window, taking out at least one of Boise State's drones, who's beginning to scout, so they know Doc is out there. But he could have rotated, so got to keep Boise State on their toes.
Especially Ultraset. No, especially Fox specifically, because if he's on his toes, maybe his shield will knock him over because it's so heavy, perhaps?
It's his job to hold the shield, so if he gets knocked over by it, I'm pretty sure he'd get fired for that.
Yeah,
But
he's
we do
fired.
see the castle take a little bit of poke damage as Boise State very slow on this attack. Where are they going? We don't
Bomb
know.
located by
And we
attack.
just see this Doc watching the whole first floor where Boise State pushed through last
Bomb
round
has been
at that
located.
won it for them. They finally scout
This is
out where
kind
the
of
bombs
scary,
are.
too. Iowa Gold has
It's very
drafted
suspense.
this particular KLS, right? But Doc, this particular player, maybe in rotation or just play style, consistently gets picked off before the Doc is able to be used in the way that you're supposed to be using Doc.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually use Doc the way he's supposed to. He's supposed to be like an anchor that revives and heals up teammates. A lot of people use him as a peeker, so if you eventually do get downed, you can just pick yourself back up and then get back into the action.
Sure.
We see Ella do a
Whoa!
run out onto Sherb. When she scouted, he was outside the window, and we see Danny immediately circle around as well as Juco, trying to get the revenge pick onto that Ella as she ran into basement, and we see Doc looking out the window trying to get the pixel headshot that we so rarely see. And we see Monty pinging out
Isn't
that
that
Doc.
fun?
They know he's there, and Monty's slowly pushing up through that catwalk into bomb site. But we do see Danny picked off by that Doc, who's actually done really well for his team so far.
Not able to get picked off earlier on, he was able to do a lot of work for their team. And as we have the dust settle proverbially, you only have 3 members of Boise State alive as Stock's going to heal himself up, give him a little bit of extra health. And the rest of the health bars are looking pretty healthy on the side of Iowa Gold.
Yeah, they've been doing really well holding off this Boise State defense as Monty's unable to get value as he can't push through the window without getting a little bit of poke damage from both members of Iowa that are holding those red stairs. Looks like Juco was able to open up that giant wall, but unable to. He does run through without getting picked off. Iowa unable to capitalize, but they get revenge with that C4 throw, which loses Boise State that diffuser as well.
5 seconds left.
There
And
goes
things went from
Ultrasen
bad
as well.
to worse.
Iowa wins just purely out of time. Looks like Iowa's also going to celebrate with a little BM teabagging here.
He's just stretching. He's doing lunges. It's not
He's just
teabagging.
squatting. He's just squatting. Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, you tie things up. Boise State tried to go forward with a little bit of the same play, but KLS, Killafort, doing a fantastic job getting 2 crucial picks, giving them the man advantage, and then at that point, they just funneled Boise State into that site, making them go through C4, making them go through electricity, not things you want to be doing if you got such a low health bar.
Yeah, and Sherb getting picked off in the beginning by that Ella runout was very crucial for that Iowa win. He was not expecting it. They did not drone it out well enough, so Boise State definitely going to have to go more for that map control as they go for the 6th pick from the Jekyll to the Monty again, as we see the site actually changes from that CCTV 2nd floor to basement.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
Because
bombs.
And what does
Definitely
this
gonna be a
mean for
different-
Boise State then?
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually still push through garage, as that's been working really well for them. But now the
Right.
defenders have the mute, which denies the drones, as well as the Cade, who we've seen not so much in the past, more of a bandit. So I'm curious to see how they play this out. They're definitely going to hold kitchen, that's for sure. It's a huge attack site for B. So I'm curious to see where Boise decides whether to go through the garage or kitchen for this site.
I mean, me personally, you're going to find me in the kitchen 9 times out of 10. Not for bombs, but for bomb food.
Go.
But I make some good food, okay, Brenna Bear?
Attackers
I'd prefer to do that too.
the bomb.
Yeah, food's good. That being said, food for thought. What does Iowa need to continue to do to get themselves, if not ahead, comfortably in a position where they feel like they can maybe get some rounds ahead of Boise State?
They've just been winning against map control here. Boise State not scouting enough, not getting enough value out of their drones, as that drone is quickly picked off by the Jaeger. They're just getting run out, killed. They're losing to enemies who are holding the first floor where they previously pushed. They're just losing left and right as they're actually pushing through dirt tunnel for one of the first times that I've seen on this
Interesting.
map. It's so rarely done. So I'm curious to see with this Monty push through if they are able to get some value with no traps on the side of Iowa team. This Monty allowing just free reign to push into sight and possibly get a diffuser plan off, as this L is on second
And
story.
last time we saw it was just Jaeger defending the other side of that tunnel, so might be able to be caught off in a little bit of a surprise here as Monty goes forward down that treacherous path.
Yeah, so he is able to hold off that doorway as he is able to also scout who is shooting him and where from, allowing his teammates the information they need with that diffuser, as two of the members of Iowa's quickly picked off by Boise,
This is so creative, actually.
as well as a C4 used trying to get a pick on that Monty, but he quickly just backs up and absorbs the blow, only losing a quarter of his HP. Boise Danny destroying that barbed wire, looking for more possible mutes as Ella slowly is pushing through garage, seeing if anyone is in there, as she sees no one is, and is going to probably push through blue hallway and try to get a pick on Danny from behind. As Danny is picked off by that mute, and Monty is then picked off by the mute as well, getting a double for his team, but he is then picked off by Fox and Sherb getting the last pick onto Rimelight, leaving it all up to Ella, who's just now has to attack the site she was just defending.
42 seconds remain. Is able to be the clutch 1-4-3. Can't get shot by any of these members, especially with how low Ella's health bar is, considering the remaining health of Boise State. There goes for the +1. Are they going to go for a second one? Unfortunately for Ella, Boise State getting a secure JUCO, getting that defense locked up. And through the tunnel as well. Boise State really using this tunnel to their advantage.
Yeah, Boise State playing split there, attacking from at least two sides. They're really just pinched that
cool.
Iowa defense and played really well with that Monty through dirt tunnel.
That was really cool because you can see the plan of action before it happened. They put so much pressure and said, guys, there's a Monty with at least one other person behind them pushing through this tunnel. We need to send reinforcements here. They got Iowa to overcommit, and while they were looking one way, the rest of Boise State members just went down that stairs and got the 2 picks.
That definitely won them around for sure. And Ella just not being able to get any value from that second story really cost her team possibly the round there. As we see Iowa with almost the all-elite skin defensive team, but it looks like they're going to do 6-pick for Bandit as well as Jackal to Monty again. And we see Danny change off that Ash to Zofia.
Interesting. Might be a 6-pick here for Iowa as well. Into what could be the Mira. We've seen this before. We'll probably see it again. What a fantastic operator to have on a team.
Yeah, and with Iowa defending the basement once again, they're going to try a different strat with that mirror and maybe a bit of a harder hold, as well as keeping their eyes open and not just tunnel visioning on the tunnel. See them reinforcing side as well to probably put a mirror right there and watch blue tunnel, as Boise State got a lot of value pushing that last time. Getting a rotation there as well. Some possible value for his team.
10 seconds left.
Does Boise State have the audacity to go through this again? Maybe go through tunnel one more time?
Very possibly. It worked well for them, but they should definitely anticipate Iowa's adaptiveness based off of the last map. So I would not be surprised if we saw maybe a different strategy, as this Ella is still going to hold second story, even though she got no value for her team last round with it.
Oh, quite unfortunate.
We do see his drone immediately picked up as they electrified tunnel, and we see the K just holding off this tunnel as they know they lost it because of this strategy, so we're just not going to let it happen again.
Yep. Boise State might have to already put in motion a different plan. Where do you go from here if you are Boise State?
You could try to go for the kitchen push, assuming Cade did not electrify that hatch, and it looks like he did not. And so we see Boise State pushing towards blue stairs in the tunnel, as well as Monty Gridlock actually opening up that hatch right above the blue area. So if they decide to drop down, they'll be right in front of this mirror. See how this engage happens.
And it is interesting when it comes down to it. Boise State, even though they did falter one round in a kind of flimsy fashion, immediately answering back with an adaptation of their own, and they felt very comfortable the last round, and they look like to be the ones in the driver's seat so far this one as well.
Yeah, we do see Sherb get the first pick of this round onto that Ella, who is on the second story, giving Boise just about full map control of the first and second floors. And we do see them open up that hatch into kitchen as well. We see this Cade looking towards stairs if Boise decides to push down it. We see the Mute and the Jaeger holding that kitchen hatch, waiting for Boise State to just make the push with only a minute remaining.
Yep. This is that sweet time because in these rounds, it's all about feeling out where people are roaming, maybe getting a nice quick peek. But now that it's 40 seconds remain roughly on the clock, it's kind of do or die, and it's time to show up as Juco gets another +1. It's sure backing up, getting a double kill for himself. 2 members remain on the side of Iowa Gold. Are they able to defend against the entire roster of Boise State? Juco stops going for the disarm there. He's going to go for a couple shots here of his own, and
Mirror pushing out,
unfortunately,
getting picked off, leaving the last remaining member of Iowa, this Cade, against this Monty, as he gets picked off by the behind from Danny. Another flawless
that's
round
not
for
how
Boise
that
State.
works. It's not how that works, guys. You can't just shoot a Monty. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he kind of blocks the bullets with the giant metal shield he carries.
Giant thing of metal. Can you imagine if you could thermite the shield? That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of team damage there, so I wouldn't really think that would work, but that would be something
you have
to
like the
try for
thermite
sure.
on your shield and you just go into other people.
That'd definitely be interesting, but that's what we have Blitz for, because he can just flashbang with his shield. Not
That's
broken.
true. It's fine. I mean, we're not even get to the fun part where the new operators come into play, because I don't know about you, breaking down walls with your shoulder, it's kind of cool. Kind of really cool.
Yeah, we definitely always wanted to see that Kool-Aid Man in competitive play, yet we haven't yet because we've just been slow to introduce him into competitive play. But we do see the 6th pick for Wamai into Doc, and we see Callie's 6th picked into Callie.
Oh, time for the
She's gonna
sniper.
stay.
Let's go. I'm okay
Yeah,
with this.
Boise State without this Monty, it's going to be interesting how they end up attacking the CCTV site, as Monty's been a very good key for Boise State in the past.
Why would you pick Callie? What's the rationale behind swapping over from this giant stalwart defender to possibly someone who can get a 1-down body shot?
My guess would be they're going for more of a harder breach style through that wall with both Callie and Thermite, as she can destroy things on the other side of the wall. So I'm curious to see what they plan on going here.
I fluff my beard. The audience wants the beard, so I have to give them what they want. The people get what they want here at the Boise State University stream. Also,
Do they want
if you guys
your
wanna
beard or
support,
Blackbeard?
they want my beard and Blackbeard. If you guys like what you're
They want all
seeing,
the beards.
feel free to type ! free sub, guys. Your subscriptions go forward and help fund scholarships so you can make more stuff like this, more broadcasts like this, more beards like this happen. Why wouldn't you?
Ooh, we see Sherb actually get a pick through the soft wall at the front of the gate. So it looks like that Doc is out of the picture.
And again, we see this Ella posting up in a weird position. Oftentimes, is this what Ella players expect to do? Is trying to go for these Rome-esque plays to try to get their team a nice pick-off advantage?
Yeah, Ella is quite the roamer with especially her Ella traps, which disorientate the enemy if they run through them. So if she is able to get that off, it'll give her quite the advantage in the firefight. Danny able to pick off Kill Forte. That eliminates that roaming Ella, leaving the last 3 members of Iowa on site. As we see them trying to bandit trick.
They're trying to get Ultraset a nice shot off on whoever's defending, setting up maybe some breaching charge as well.
Ooh, Ultrasen gets this Claymore kill through the drone hole. Big props to him for planning that out, as we saw him plant that down, leaving the last 3 members of Boise versus the 2 of Iowa. Leaving the Castle and the Jaeger holding their angles, watching that doorway. as Boise begins to drone it out and spot them where they are.
I don't know about you, but I don't know if grappling hooks move like that in real life.
What do you
Maybe
mean?
they
It's
do.
totally realistic. Come on, man.
I've never used a grappling hook, so I don't know.
You do see that Elichop go off onto the thermite with 1 health remaining, and he's going for the plant,
Wow.
leaving the final 2 members of Iowa to get a pick onto Danny, who is on the first floor, and another one onto Juco, but sure, getting a quick revenge onto that castle, leaving everything up to this Jaeger to get the defuse off as he is pinched between the last 3 members of Boise. As
Gotta
he's
be
no
careful.
there
What's
outside
behind you?
both the window. Yeah, he's got so many angles to get just picked off from, as well as droned.
And
Not
he is
sure
running
if he
out
can
of
pull this
time.
off, but we'll have to wait and see. And he's picked off.
Picked off by Sherb, doing a phenomenal job for Boise State. What an interesting angle to do it from, too. From the bottom side of garage all the way up there. Looks like he was maybe looking to get on the outside of things to sneak up behind him. But again, Boise State picking a interesting setup of operators, both with the Kali, everything else that was working out for them, to kind of switch gears away from the Monty, the shield operators that they like to use, and kind of just take commanding force of that round.
Yeah, and it looks like Boise's going to go with the same attacking team, as well as the defenders with the same site, and the same team as well. But they're just changing out that bandit for a Cade because that bandit tricking was not working for them last time, to see if the Cade is able to get some more value versus this Cali Thermite squad. It looks like L is actually
Whoa.
6 picking into the Omai, and Cali possible 6 pick back to Monty.
Monty!
All right.
Okay, I can respect it.
Yeah, it looks like both
Do you-
Ultraset
will you
and
pick
Sherp
what-
have been the playmakers for their team.
Wamai and Jaeger, though? Isn't that a little overkill?
As many bombs as they can.
Well, I guess it gives you insurance in case one person is picked off over the other, as well
Sure.
as Wamai's a decent roamer, and so is Jaeger. They both are. So I guess it just allows more versatility for this Iowa defense.
And it's up to, again, KLS, a fantastic dock player when able to operate. As long as this player does not get picked off early on in this round, they've shown again consistently they're able to do work against Boise State.
10 seconds to go.
I'm curious if how much Iowa's going to change the strategy here, as they have lost this site every time they've picked it, but yet they've won basement. So I'm curious to see, with both the Castle and Cade and Wamai picks, if it's going to change up their strategy at all, because Doc was picked off last time he was holding that same area by Sherb. So
Right.
he should be expecting it, yet he's still doing the same thing. So I'm curious if maybe something will change this time around, as we see Monty slowly pushing through that garage once again, and Gridlock going to the roof.
Yep, it's all about where Ultraset wants to ultra set up. Just give that creative barrier for the rest of the team. I'm very punny. I'm super sorry. I don't know if you're
No,
used to
I
it
love
yet,
it.
but it only gets worse.
I
It only
love
gets
it.
worse from here.
I'm ready for so many more.
Awesome.
Expect
That's
great
not
things.
sarcasm at all. We
You'd be
live in a
surprised. I actually
society,
do
they
love
say.
puns. I get a lot of crap for it, but I'm very excited to hear what puns you get out of this Siege game.
You gotta be
See, Dave's
creative.
getting it.
Just like this,
No,
I was trying to be creative in their defense as well, because despite losing this, they continue to go back to this bomb site because maybe they're doing things a little bit differently, and they are. They're putting even resources in basement to stop maybe an extra angle for Boise State to attack from.
Yeah, and we do see Boise actually go for the different hard breach rather than the balcony they were before. So it looks like everyone's just changing up their defensive strategies and attacking strategies, as Monty is just rocking around outside, not really pushing in for his team just yet. We see a lot of that value coming out for Iowa defense, as both Jaeger and Wamai just taking away those smoke grenades from that Gridlock.
And again, every crucial second taken off this clock means that sooner rather than later, Boise State will be forced to act. We got shot in the hand, poor Monty. Unfortunately, it's not
Juco
going
does
so well
get the
for the
first
side of
pick
here
of the
tonight.
game. Jaeger with
Right,
1 HP remaining
1
against
HP, he can do it.
Monty. Oh, Monty's down to 1 as well.
This
They're
is
just knocking each other down.
Come on, who's gonna win in the sliver battle? No one intervene. This is a gentleman's agreement. No one's allowed to fight each other now. As Boise State now has, again, 37 seconds remaining on the clock to put their plan of action in motion. Again, these two sliver health bars are just 1v1 here in Garage.
It's come down to an idiot battle while the rest of the team gets a pick on to kill Forte with Danny and Fox getting the pad done, and
Oh,
Sherb
come
finally
on.
taking out that Jaeger with KLS getting the revenge onto Danny, which a 4v1
I-
here for this dock as they begin to
I
plan.
call this round
and he is taken out.
disqualified. No, Boise State did not win that
Didn't have
round.
their honorable 1v1.
Monty's 1v1 was interrupted dishonorably, so they lose the round and all the style points. No, I'm kidding. They win the round. But a swap means that this is now time for Iowa Gold again to show up their stuff, because as we saw last map, they were put up against the wall in terms of the round score until they switched over to attack, and then things went disastrous for Boise State.
Yeah, Sherb's actually been doing really well for his team, getting a double elimination that past round and even more in previous ones. And now it looks like on the defense, we're going to see them pick a Mira, Maestro, Jaeger, Caden, Castle for the basement site, with Iowa going 6th pick from IQ to Capital, who have we not seen yet so far, as well as a 6th pick from the Maestro to Echo.
Is he
And
actually going
looks
to
like
pick
they
up
might be
Capital,
considering a
though?
swap again.
Oh my goodness.
like they're
I
gonna
do
stick
love
with them.
Capital as well. Now we're just missing the Lion.
To locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
We still got the rest of the
Wow.
game ahead of us, with Boise State just 2 victories away from winning this map. Curious to see how they hold off this defense, as they've been attacking so far.
And they opted for this down basement side, where they really struggled and also succeeded very handedly with this tunnel. So that means that they are very prepared in defending this. Otherwise, I wouldn't imagine them picking it to go up against themselves.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Iowa's not doing the Monty strat as well, as that worked out really well for Boise. I'm surprised Iowa's not going to be like, all right, you did this, now let's show you how to do it even better. But
Right.
it seems like they're not actually going to do that. So I'm curious to see how they then attack this site with no shield, a hard breacher, but no way. No, they do have the Twitch to counter it. So very intrigued to see how they play this out with both a Zofia, Capitao, and Buck, who we have not seen from attacking on this site before.
And if you're Iowa with 1 round in your name, and where this particular bomb pit is, what are they looking for in terms of strategy to get this one to a 2 to 5 round score?
Probably control of the first and second floor, as that one the last map is just map dominance, and we see Kill Forte actually already in the first floor as he pushed right in right away on top of that hatch. But it looks like their thermite is nowhere near to help them with that hatch and push through. So I'm curious to see what their plan of attack is here, as they are slowly taking control of the first and second floor.
And again, every second that goes off this clock forces Iowa Gold to react. They do already have a map lead, but as far as this particular map is going, definitely not in their favor. So they need to start clenching up, start adapting as they did in the first map to get themselves possibly even the entire set win.
Yeah, and it looks like Twitch already did take some damage, and she's able to take out that Cade on the hatch, allowing them a breaching point
Wow.
onto this basement site. As well as we see KLS looking for an easy pick through the roof of this basement site, and we see 2 of the members of Iowa pushing through blue hallway as well. But Juco does end up getting the headshot onto Fear
On the
Knight,
diffuser,
that
too.
thermite. Yeah, so they both lost their hard breacher and their diffuser carrier, as now the diffuser is on basement. Iowa now has to play even more aggressive than before.
But they're not unwilling to do so. We've seen them put up against, and they do pick up the diffuser, means they're going to be willing to fight right now.
Yeah, this puts Boise in kind of a powerful position, as the remaining members of Iowa are stuck in that room with diffuser. They immediately lose 2 members to both Juco and Sherb. but they get a revenge pick onto Ultrasen, but Fox then gets revenge for his teammate as Killforte gets one more onto Juco, leaving it to a 3v1 with Twitch under half HP and no way onto bomb site unless she pushes that hallway with a bunch of sightlines on her.
Yeah, this is a little precarious. It is possible. We've seen crazier stuff.
She has 15 seconds. It's not very possible, as well as the camera's still in the corner and the echo drones disorienting her. She runs down the hallway and just gets taken apart by Sherb. Sherb's been a key play for his team.
Doing a phenomenal job, and even knowing that the moment they started running down the hallway, peeking out there for the team. Fantastic set as well for both teams. They're doing a phenomenal job, and Boise State getting put up against the ringer so far in that first map. The second map entirely almost Boise State showing. And it is a game point, map point for them as well. One more round win will secure them the 1-1 map tie. And that just means that we're going to map 3.
Yeah, and Boise State has been showing dominance over this map against Iowa University. So I'm very curious with now these new draft picks for Boise's defense with the Goyo, the Doc, and the Valkyrie, and the Bandit. But it looks like they're going to 6-pick the Bandit as well as Iowa 6-pick the Twitch away into a Thermite. And switching the Bandit out for as well as they go for CCTV. Yeah. So I'm curious to see if Iowa can get as much value off the Cali as Boise did when they were attacking.
Depends on so many factors. Again, with Ultraset on that particular operator, it was tough. You know, they put themselves in a nice position. Boise State, you guys are watching, versing and heading off against the University of Iowa's Golden Hawkeyes, as you can see by the wonderful bird little detail icon there. Iowa has taken the first map, and Boise State on this map too is showing dominance as it is 6-1. This is map point for them, and if they do take this away, we will be going to a map 3 as it is a best of 3 for the maps.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Boise State does on this defense, as we only saw them on the basement the one round. And Cali actually has diffuser as well with the sniper, so that means the sniper now has to get some close quarters to get that diffuser off. So I'm curious to see how this plays out for both sides here.
I think, again, it's just kind of a question as to how to use the Thermite to open up those shot sites, those line of sights for your Kali to be successful.
It's definitely going to come down to, can Kali take out those Cade traps without costing her Thermite one of his 2 charges that he has. It very much comes down to mind games at this point, but I'm pretty sure Boise State can pull this out as they have in the past. We see a quick little tickle onto the Cade, as well as the Thermite taking a little bit poke damage as well. There the Kali goes, taking out not even one of the Cade traps as it was still electrified. And KLS does get the pick onto the mirror, yeah. Capitao holding that sightline onto B site, doing really well for his team so far.
Those crossbows, man, they're just so cool.
Crossbows in a gun game. Most sense.
Yeah, it works too. Wait till they release a melee-only operator who has like a sword or something. I'm not talking about Sledge. It doesn't count.
And he has Sledge.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
I mean, if you get a Sledge kill, like, hats off to you, because the guy you sledged is gonna be very salty.
Yeah.
And we do see Iowa able to finally open up that wall further, Cali, get a sight line for their team.
What they want.
It looks like no one is in sight for her either.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Even dropping the diffuser, knowing that, hey, I'm just going to sit on this ledge just the remainder of the round, so you're going to have to do the bomb defusing. Sorry, bud. It's a good call, though, because using that Thermite to get this angle means that there's only so many opportunities that Boise State can safely defend from now.
Yeah, and we see Sherb actually scouted out by a drone in garage, as well as Cali taking pot shots at him, so he has to get out of there or get a pick for his team to even up the scoreboard here.
He's getting pinned down with those shots. They're just essentially keeping him in that corner. As Sherb takes a tremendous amount of damage, Juco will pick up one though on Brapton. Maybe pushing a little bit too forward without the rotation. Sherv's going to pick one even with this minimal life. Going to get Riot Lime on the backside, but a nice KS from that other side. Danny V evening it up as well. And that immediate burst of action, now it's 3 members to 2 members. Now it's 2 to 2.
Now it's 2 to 2 too. A lot of things happening very fast in this last 20 seconds of the round as remaining members of both Boise State and Iowa have to push for this site, but we see Boise lose one to Killforte as Killforte also is having to plant, leaving everything up to Danny with his shotgun, but he's taken out by the Cali, and his body goes flying over those railings. That was a great round.
The sniper's
Like we're
strong.
playing Dark Souls.
Wee. And it's just Boise State gave Iowa enough time to get the thermite charge down, which then cascaded to disastrous effect. The Kali was just able to get consistent pressure, not even landing shots necessary, but keeping Shirt in the corner there, getting continual damage on the members that they need to. That's exactly how Iowa wanted to play that map in that round.
Yeah, and losing Mira so early definitely put Boise in the back foot so quickly. Just having one member down from almost the very start of the round definitely gave Iowa the upper hand there, and they were just able to also open up that wall since they knew that, hey, the window behind us is open, we cannot longer defend this with our electricity, so we had to give it up, which ended up costing them the round.
Yep, and an interesting series. They're doing a Cade Bandit combo as we've seen them do in garages before, the previous map. Are they able to hold this off, or do they suffer the same fate as last map? Iowa, again, the Hawkeyes, they have that bird-like vision. Are they able to swoop and pick this one up out of just straight demise? Are they able to clutch this one up again and take the second map?
I'm actually surprised to see how this plays out, seeing as Boise State's actually going for the site that no one has picked before, which is Master Bedroom and Workout Room. So I'm very curious to see how both teams are going to answer this change of site as well as change in operators with both Double Electricity, Castle, and Mira. This is a very anchor-heavy team here, but they're making a lot of openings and rotations, so I'm curious to see how this plays out for every side.
Does this end up being a
fantastic
fantastic site for Kali, though?
Not so much, because she doesn't have as long as sight lines as before. It's very much holding main entrance, but you can get peeked from so many windows. It's a very risky play.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
So we're going to see the diffuser swap hands here as well. As well as Capital running around front entrance, deciding where to go. And Callie looking for a little sneaky foot shot here. As well as both Cade and Juco notice that they are pushing from that site.
Killforte wants to be able to plant this charge too.
Sophia looking for anybody who might be on that B site, even though everyone's on A with a giant hole in the wall in between. We see the Thermite finally open up that wall into the A bathroom, and we see Callie looking for the peek as she gets poked down just a little bit. She knows he's there. And looking stairs as well, but looks like all the members of Boise State staying on the OBJ with Juco on the stairs. Could we get picked off by the Cali? But we'll have to wait and see.
They're pretty innovative Mira defense here, not able to give this Kali the free reign that they want. A nice communication as well, saying, guys, they're still out here, they're trying to get some picks off, so watch your angles. Even throwing the fire arrow here, I got to be careful though, because the moment that they get more members in play, you got to be more and extra careful. Oh my goodness, never mind.
Does get the pixel headshot onto the Cali with that Mira play, and we see the Thermite push up to that Cade and take that site as he begins to plant with Juco coming up behind him and quickly stops the plant. Now they have Diffuser on site, but looks like, oh, Juco was actually taken out. He did not prevent the plant. It looks like then 3 more members of Boise State goes down, leaving everything up to Fox, who is stuck in office, and the rest of Iowa just owning the map right now.
We were questioning whether or not they were going to start taking control, and it looks like they are starting to gain the same familiar momentum they had in that first map. Iowa taking yet another round away from Boise State, and this could be a sign of things to come. This could be very scary for Boise State because this is so reminiscent of the last map.
Yeah, Iowa definitely having a comeback right about now. Boise State just kind of playing slow and very anchor heavy and just losing it as soon as Iowa begins to push and begins to run them over. But here we see Boise State changing up their defense a little bit with the Jaeger and Echo as well as Iowa choosing to go for Hibana instead of Thermite, Jackal, and saving their last pick for a mystery. It looks like it's going to be the
Twitch and
Twitch.
Habana.
Okay.
Okay. I do like Habana. I really do. I think it's an interesting pick. And you really only play Habana when you're comfortable on it. But the pick 6 here coming from Danny will switch over to none other than Doc. Give me the Doc.
Well, we got the 6 pick from Capito to IQ for Iowa, but it looks like Danny is going to stick with that Caveira, which we have not actually seen from him before. So if he gets some value from Caveira, it could definitely win the round for his team with that Intero.
It is a little bit of a different loadout if in terms of operations and operators. What is Boise State's plan here with these particular set of men and women in the armed forces?
It's definitely the 4 of them hard holding the basement sites, with Danny hopefully being able to get at least one interrogation off before he is swiftly picked off. And if he's able to get that interrogation, it will very fastly tip the game in their favor as it reveals everyone's positions.
5 seconds left.
And that's
Very
it's kind of
curious
the name
how
of the game
Boise
is
decides to
information.
change it. Yeah, it is definitely a huge, powerful ability.
Another defense in the basement. And I do wonder whether or not Iowa pulls a play out of Boise State's book and uses that tunnel for their main entrance in.
Yeah, and with Boise State only having the Cade and already using one of them on the hatch and possibly the other one, they have no electricity in the tunnel. So it very much comes down to where Iowa decides to push and if Danny can act upon it and get some value for his team, as he is the only one outside of objective site right now.
It's got to be super careful too, because with Caveira you have such an instrumental job of keeping yourself safe until you're able to execute that particular one check mark thing. If you're able to get that check mark off, it, as you were saying, it really does benefit your team in such a large way. But Iowa Gold does not want to let that happen. They want to continue this momentum and continue to stay in the driver's seat. They're looking at buckling down that 5-point harness and keeping their foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, and it looks like they didn't even scout out Danny, who was in club and is now slowly moving towards them as they just quickly drone through it and did not check all their angles as he was hiding in there. So he could get some value here as they don't know that he's behind him.
And they're putting a lot of resources. They know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, here we see the Twitch drone try to get some value, but it's quickly picked off, so now she's out of Twitch drones.
A bomb has been located.
They do find the bomb, so they know exactly where they need to be going. Beyond that, what information they have is solely up to kind of line of sight, as they do only have a few drones left, if any. And you got to be careful with you going for a nice invasive drone attempt. Danny on the wings here could get a crucial pick off or two.
Yeah, the big issue here for Danny is that they have a Jackal, so if he manages to spot some of her footprints and scout her out, that immediately reveals her position, and she has to move or else she would get collapsed on by this Iowa team. But it looks like they're going to push through bar hatch with the Hibana right into the corner supply room. So I'm curious to see how they... Go ahead.
Danny being the only one up there just solely reveals his footprints as to where his location is. But Sherb is going to pick up a +1, a +2 actually, the double kill as Danny continues to make
actually,
a little bit more. Danny's going to pick up one as well.
Yeah, he wasn't able to down with the his stealth pistol and get the interior roll off, so he just went straight for the elimination. As Juco then gets a headshot onto... Oh, Danny actually came in too and gets a double. Wow, that was pretty fast. And the flawless
Holy
round.
cow.
Danny got triple for that round. A ton of value for his team.
Wow, and this is just kind of getting
the
put
map.
up against the wall there. They were able to stuff out the attempt and the momentum. They ripped University of Iowa, out of the driver's seat, get in control, and take the second map away. But that does mean that we are on match point with the final map. Ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed watching Boise State University versus the University of Hawaii, the Broncos versus the Golden Eyehawks in this Collegiate R6. I am Jared Baratoka-Siglione, joined by, of course, none other than fan favorite of the Clash Royale team, Brenner Bear Lad.
Clash Royale's wrong game.
And
Come on.
it's a fantastic game. I just want to throw as many Clash references at you as possible.
Great.
But
so excited.
great
for
map.
it.
Boise State put themselves
No,
ahead
Bear
in the
played
lead.
very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Danny
And
on
we
that
are-
Cabrera. That he did really well.
100%. Putting themselves in a nice position, tying up the map series so it's 1-1, meaning that we will soon be going to a map 3 and a match and game point. We'll be taking a short break, get some rehydration in our systems. We're going to go wash our hands real quick too. We'll be right back.
Since 2016, universities have been adding varsity esports, competitive intercollegiate video game teams, with nearly 100 colleges and universities now with official programs. Esports is fast becoming the new college sport. But with any dramatic change comes criticism. How could institutions of higher learning promote something so trivial? But when you look a little closer, esports demonstrates, just like other sports, that it's a pathway to something more.
There's several misconceptions when it comes to esports and its place on the university campus. The first and foremost is that people would say it's not a valuable learning activity. It's not a place where people can learn new job-related skills or maybe get a good industry feel for what's happening outside the university environment. And that's just simply not the case. And all evidence points otherwise. There are so many new jobs. The industry is absolutely booming. People are looking for students that are graduating with experience in things like streaming and technologies, marketing, the whole business side, sponsorships. There's the whole graphics and coding component that involved in esports and other video game type of activities that are really important in just terms of jobs and industry.
And on their way to those careers, students who attend schools with varsity esports programs can compete for their university. But in order to be eligible, students have to meet the same high academic standards as other student athletes.
You have to maintain a certain GPA. You shouldn't be playing constantly. You should have like a certain time frame and like practice for like 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day. You shouldn't be just like overwhelming yourself.
Care about your grades first and foremost. As Dr. Haskell said, he cares about our grades first because we came to college to get an education, to get a degree, and then we also get to do what we love and play esports.
Athletics and other university-sanctioned activities bind students together with purpose, a chance to be part of something bigger than yourself, where we learn to work hard, play a role, lose with dignity, win with honor, all for our school. This is why we play.
Welcome back, everybody, especially you, Brenner Bear. My goodness. For those just joining us, we just witnessed a back-to-back knock 'em out, drag 'em out, some epic proportions between Boise State and University of Iowa. First map, University of Iowa showing that they are the kings of comebacks. And second time, the second map, they tried to demonstrate their reign yet again, but Boise State had a little bit more lineage in that particular map. But we're down to the final nitty-gritty last map of the entire series. What do you expect from both of these teams?
I expect a very close matchup, with the first game being very close, the second one Boise State dominating a bit more, and with the third and final map going to be Bank. I'm curious to see how both sides hold out both their defense and attack, with the Monty being banned by Iowa. So we're going to see the Thatcher ban immediately from Boise State, but that Monty got a lot of value last match, so I'm not surprised that they did that ban.
Got a lot of huge opportunity. Instead, actually, the Kali ban, not banning out the Thatcher. Interesting
Okay.
choice. Does this mean that
That's
they
a
want to
first,
play
yeah.
the Thatcher then?
That would be my assumption, yeah, and especially on Bank with only so few attack opportunities for both the basement and second floor. Thatcher is very valuable, but banning out that Mira is going to be very strong for Boise State. So I'm curious to see what Iowa Gold bans in response to that.
Don't ban Clash. Don't ban Clash. Don't ban Clash. You could ban Recruit.
That's all I can
That's
hope
always
for.
an opportunity,
That's
I
all I
guess.
I don't think Recruit's
don't want to
available
fear.
in the comp match, but you never know. They could
That's
just
the real
break the
flex.
game and
Just
ban
doing
them.
5 Recruit man maps. Just 10v10.
I-
Even increase the
Pretty sure that's
players. All
banned in
recruits.
count matches, but it would be a sight to see, that's for sure. And the Clash
Oh,
ban,
no!
all I could ask for.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you're ecstatic. They picked like my
Yeah, so
favorite operators and just removed them.
Yeah, that was
okay.
both big shield operators banned by Iowa Gold, as Boise State was getting both value from both of those operators. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup on this map. But hey, we got the Blackbeard, so looks like you're in the game
We
now.
got the Blackbeard. We're in the game, and the Thatcher to boot. What does this mean, though? Because these are 3 actual operators we haven't seen. We haven't seen the Thatcher. We haven't seen the Maverick too often, and the Blackbeard. Those 3 in triplicate. What does this mean for this particular team? What does Boise State want to be doing here?
It looks like they're definitely going to go hard, breach, slow, and steady. That Thatcher Thermite is going to allow to open any wall that the team puts up, as well as Maverick Blackbeard. Maverick's just going to open a tiny hole in those reinforcements, and Blackbeard with his shield can just look through it and take no damage and get some free picks for his team, while Ash can just run in and clean up any roamers that they might have with her speed.
And a Maestro picked here from Iowa. This is something that we have yet to see from them as well. What does he offer for this particular team that these previous operators just can't do?
So he can definitely get some free poke with his Evil Eyes, more scouting just like they've needed in the past as well. And they also have the Echo with his drones as well. So it looks like they're going for a very hard hold on this basement site. Ella will probably be roaming, and we'll see if she gets any more value than she did in the last map when she was quickly taken out by the Boise attack.
It's all a matter of who is available. And correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like KLS has been subbed out for Kraken here on the side of Iowa Gold.
That is correct.
So an entirely new player with a different playstyle perhaps as well could offer them a unique opportunity in this do-or-die map.
Yeah, and KLS was doing really well, so my guess is it was just a scheduling conflict at that point. So I'm curious to see if Kraken can get as much value as KLS was for his team and pull out a game win for them, as it is down to a 1v1 out of this best of 3.
Yep. For those just joining, yep, this is, again, Boise State versus Iowa Gold, the Broncos versus the Hawkeyes in the Collegiate R6. Both of these teams have taken a map so far, so this is the final map for the entire game. Whoever wins this gets to take the entire spoils of war home.
It is all down to this, and with this first round just getting started off, we're going to see a lot of members of both Boise and Iowa try to get into correct positions as they begin to scout out each other with the drones and their ears.
Ultraset doing what he can to be safe and get that extra information. If you were to put a number value on information, how important is it in this game?
Probably about 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10. It's very important for both teams just to know who, what, where, when, why, and how. And like here we see the Maestro watching this Maverick as he slowly takes out this hatch. We could see Blackbeard even peek it and try to get a pick onto this Maestro who's directly underneath it. And we see the Maverick even run away as he finished destroying it. And we see Sherb droning down as well as Boise is slowly pushing in through that roof hatch. Or first floor hatch, sorry.
Had a nice opportunity. Maestro could have got a bit of fair damage here onto that Maverick, but not able to see what angle he was going to approach his hatch from at that point. Leaves them caught in the dust. And again, we do always like to wait for this final minute before either team likes to put motion into action.
Yeah, no
What's the
damage
plan
on
of attack
either
here
side
for
of the
Boise
team.
State?
They got 45 seconds. They're going to have to start making some moves right here. And Sherb gets picked off by the Ella, who's been sitting on the stairs the whole time, and she runs out and gets another pick on Ultrasen, with Kraken then getting a pick onto Juco, leaving 2 members of Boise left, and not a single one of Iowa's down.
Oh my goodness.
Blackbeard gets taken out by this Ella with her shotgun, and she's finally taken out after she cleans up 4 members of the Boise team. 4 or 3? 3,
Yeah,
sorry.
It's 3, yep. I mean, we were questioning whether or not this Ella was able to get value, and definitely proves dividends as to why they're comfortable on that operator and in this particular role. 5 seconds remaining, and Iowa Gold defending with pretty commanding force, almost getting the flawless there against Boise State.
Yeah, they played really well, and Boise just played too slow. They ran out of time, and when they started to panic, that Ella ran out and took out 3 of their members. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next time we see Boise attack, they're going to go for more of an aggressive playstyle here, as we immediately see the IQ swapped out for that Maverick.
And the Thermite is being hovered. I do wonder if Thatcher is also again considered for the side of Boise State. But that Maestro and Ella doing just work for the side of Iowa could mean that they need to switch some things up.
Yeah, it looks like the defense is only changing their smoke for their dock. So it looks like they might go more of a roaming comp, as they got a lot of value out of that Ella, who was just holding stairs and was never scouted out all the way. But it looks like he might
pick
6
six.
picks from that dock to the Bandit, as they want the electricity for the second floor site. And then Thatcher's going to be 6-picked into Gridlock. So now,
Interesting.
Boise State doesn't have anything to counter those Bandit traps unless IQ takes control of that first floor and shoots them through the floor.
Yep. And this is kind of what Iowa wants to see here. They were able to get a very comfortable operator lineup, but maybe, I think Boise State seems to be the team that they're able to say, okay, this is what they're trying to do, but we're comfortable doing our own thing instead.
Yeah, I definitely just think they need to play a little bit faster after that last round, especially having a Blackbeard and no Maverick now. They can't just peek the tiniest tolls and get a lot of value out of that, because they weren't able to do that last round. But since Iowa was able to win basement, they don't have to worry about dealing with that for another couple rounds. So this should definitely get Boise State, hopefully, the first win of this match. See,
I would love to work in the game
defenders.
sound department, to be honest.
Yeah, you get to play with a lot of fun toys to make all the explosion destruction sounds, that's for sure.
All the debris falling to the ground, it just sounds so cool.
They did very well, for sure, on that department. Here we
Speaking
see
of
Sherb
doing
trying
well,
to get
Iowa
the
Gold.
pick.
Yeah, they want to get a nice pick because Iowa just has things in motion. They have things set up, and it's kind of hard to find these small holes in the armor so far for Iowa Gold. Boise State struggling to find an edge so far.
Yeah, and it looks like Maestro finally set up his last cam. So I'm curious where his other one is, if it's right there. And we see they actually didn't even reinforce one of the walls behind, I believe that's A site. So leaving Boise State a possible opening with their bandit still roaming, who might be able to get a quick pick on this Boise State team.
Might be able to, and it's a matter of look at the health bars. If we look at things right now, Brenda Barrett, I was not doing so well in terms of being at 100%, while none of the members of Boise State have even been grazed by a bullet.
Yeah, Boise State has done well just like poking at him so far, and actually gets a quick first pick onto Fear Knight, which eliminates that Maestro, who is already at half health. So good on Ultrascent for taking advantage of that. But now they know that the bandit is first floor as he sprayed fire through a wall, giving away his position. Whoop, and we see some almost down onto that gridlock.
Oh
but
my
we do
goodness!
Take out that Jaeger from the skylight. Good on Sherb for seeing that. So that immediately puts Boise +2 in this matchup. They're doing very well adapting so far.
Yeah, but the remaining
But
members
they are
of
down
Iowa
45
are full
seconds.
health.
Yeah.
And they are running out of
They got
time.
crunch
Exactly.
time. So here we see the bandit get the pick onto Fox, who's just standing out in the hallway looking towards supply closet. So that is one up on Iowa. But here we see Danny underneath the floor taking out those bandit traps. And we see Ultrascent finally taking out that roaming bandit, leaving the last two, I believe, on site, as the remaining members of Boise went for the plant, got it off. So it's down to this Castle and Ella to take out the remaining 4 members of Boise and defuse. They got 30 seconds to do it.
30 seconds to do it, and again, Iowa is living or dying by whether or not this Ella can get these picks off, and in this round, not even getting an opportunity to rotate. They got to face first check this place, and Boise State is ready for him. 1 member remains, and it is the Ella gets taken out, and Boise State picks up round 2.
Yeah, Sherb and Danny there did a lot of the work with Sherb on the roof, just holding angles and watching people just run past windows and just getting a free pick for his team left and right. Whereas Danny getting rid of those bandit traps through the floor, allowing his team to breach site and get the win for him.
And again, we do wonder, they have a nice plan of action. It's 4 members for University of Iowa setting up shop here around these points, but then what ends up happening is this Ella is not able to get value. When Ella gets value, it's huge for them. But if it's not able to capitalize on, then they just kind of falter around that plan. It's almost like it's the only pillar for them to stand on. But we've seen different upsets so far in the series. We've seen a lot of the rounds go Boise State's favor early on in the map, and then Iowa just comes back with a plan of action and takes control. So who knows if that's going to be the case here. We do see Mozzie. I mean,
Mozzie, we do see the 6th pick of Echo. Yeah. Boise State really changing it up with both the knock and the defenders changing it up with the Echo. I didn't catch what site they were on. So I'm curious to see. Okay, so they went lobby as well. So I'm really curious how this plays out for both teams, as we are seeing some new operators on both sides.
So with this change in operator, is there a change in plan for either team?
Possibly. I would see Echo staying on site, getting value and scouting with his drones, and seeing as Iowa team got value out of their roaming bandit before, I wouldn't be surprised if those two are working closely together. But with this knock, and she can disguise herself from cameras with her ability and reduce her noise, I'm curious to see how this plays out between the two teams, with possibly Danny rushing with knock and trying to eliminate those roamers early on to secure his team to just control the map.
ATS deployed and ready to go.
Right,
we see the team looking for a run out from. Yeah. Don't want to get caught by those runouts from main.
Not at all. That's
yeah.
It's a little bit of a facepalm moment if you ask me at that point.
Especially in these comp matches where it's like, all right, we're running out of spawn and I'm dead. It's just like, you should know better. Come on now. No. So we see Danny on his drone scouting out all of basement as that's where he was headed, but it looks like no one from Iowa team has gone even down there yet, as Mozzie is still reinforcing after a whole 20 or 30 seconds have already passed.
Bomb located by
It's
attackers.
it's the strat, the late game reinforcement. Interesting enough, this knock is trying to get into a nice position, and we've seen so far this series Danny be so successful on these kind of sneaky, stealthy, subterfuge kind of operators. So I think the knock is not too uncomfortable for this player.
Yeah, he's definitely not uncomfortable with it all, as he's usually playing the fraggers or the roamers, the faster speed, engage quickly operators for sure. And we see him droning out a lot as he doesn't want to get picked off, as he is a very vital team member on this team. And we see he actually scouts out 2 of the members of Iowa who are holding out an open area. So we'll see him begin to use his ability as he pushes up so they cannot hear him. And he might be able to even get some value here for his team, as Bandit is looking for a second story and get some damage onto Juco, but Danny does quickly take him out, as they did not know he was there with Nox's ability.
It's just, again, a matter of making sure you're watching every angle. You see the knock, you got to be kind of cognizant of the fact that this kind of stuff can happen. As another +1 pick, it goes over to the side of Boise State. And Sherb picking up a double, actually.
Technically, it was a triple because he team killed there, but
yeah, sure,
yeah,
but
he did.
We don't count that. I thought friendly fire was off. What the heck?
It's never turned off. Yeah. So sadly, Sherb did get a triple kill there. One of them sadly being his teammates, but so far this round has gone in the favor of Boise, even after that hiccup there. So I'm curious how these last 2 members of Iowa try to hold it off, and they do get the pick onto Danny as he walks down the stairs, leaving a 2v2 with 10 seconds left for them to push into site and plan. See a lot of shots go into that Thatcher, but we see Sherb go for the plant with Echo trying to disrupt it, but he ends up getting taken out by Thatcher. Thatcher does end up going down to this Echo, so it is a 1v1 between Sherb and Echo, as well as he is that diffuser timer.
And the health bars are almost dead even too, so whoever can get these nice right clicks, left clicks off first will surely come ahead, and Boise State's the first one! Sherb! Doing big work. That's a 4K technically, right?
Yeah, it is. So Sherb really carrying his team right now. Oh, getting elimination after elimination after team kill after elimination. Just doing really well for his team. Only having the one
that round
death compared to...
It probably would have went a little bit easier if they had Fox alive. Perhaps. I don't really know.
Perhaps.
What do I know?
You don't know. You might see the revenge Team K here just for a meme, but I highly doubt Boise will do that. You'll see that in quick match, though. People do that all the time.
Oops. Oh, you got me?
I
also
blitz.
got you.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Boise State pulling out all the weird ops today. The knock, the blitz.
So they're pulling the Habana and Blitz, which is interesting. With Thermite and Thatcher, I mean, they just want in, right? But alternatively, they have Legion.
Oh, it looks like they're going to 6-pick out that Thermite because they have the Habana for a Capital. So it looks like they're going to go crossbow just for you.
They love me, and I love them. I want this Blitz to be big. Is that too much to ask?
I mean, Blitz is already a big character himself because he can run with the riot shield, which no one else can do in this game. And he can flashbang him, so he is very much charge in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sherb and Fox just clean up this team with their aggressiveness on this basement site. He is by far one of the coolest.
And his name's Blitz. I mean, those are the people that play League of Legends. Blitz Crank. It's pretty much the same thing. Good.
Yeah, Blitzcrank's more of pulling people towards you, whereas Blitz is just charging people. So
I'm here. Come fight me.
Either way, they're both scary people to go up against, that's for sure.
They're not people you want to see in an alley, that's for sure. And Sherb is not one either.
Yeah.
Even being on the Ash, it's not something that you want to see anywhere near you because it's hyper accurate, if at all possible. Not really able to miss shots. And I did want to mention, Iowa Gold had a lot of opportunity they had the angles, they had the sight, but they missed the shots. And that could have been an entirely different round if they were to land those clicks.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to get better at clicking heads. It's the name of the game, as no one else would
That's
tell
what
you.
they say. It is not Rainbow Six Siege, it's Rainbow Six click heads. Actually.
Exactly. That's what I like to believe, at least. So we see
Yeah,
Habana enter
even
the
if-
lobby and begin to push in. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, even if that is the name of the game, I still am not good at it. Even if I know that that's what you have to do.
It's okay. We're teaching fish. I'll teach you too. I'm more than happy to.
Oh, fair enough. Wonderful. And then him and I can face off.
Exactly.
Speaking of face off, I was struggling. They seem to. Yes, they do have only one round separating the two, but these 2 round wins for Boise State are ones where they are looking completely in control, and I have to do what specifically to change things around.
Well, we see the Blitz actually take out that Yokai drone, leaving only one left for this Echo as he scouted out the Blitz on this hatch. Blitz has to be very careful of the wall to his right as he's looking at the hatch, as it is a soft wall which allows Echo to shoot through it. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out for both sides, as no one has taken damage even yet. And we see Blitz finally jump in and
Here it
push
is.
this Maestro hard as he can.
Oh!
And he goes for the melee as well, as 2 other members of his team falls as they push onto site. Danny does get another pick, though, evening up the score between both teams.
Oh
And we see
my
this Blitz
goodness!
just pushing in, taking them out, and downing that Legion as L begins to pick him up. But he is still taken out by Danny. So Legion with 20 HP remaining, 10 or 20, I believe it's 10. And
Going
this
for the arm.
Ella,
Oh, I was going to go for it, but he canceled.
yeah, I think he's trying to bait them out for it, as Legion is slowly pushing around, but he does not know Ultrasen is watching Vault. And he takes out
Oh my
Ultrasen, but
goodness!
he is taken out by Danny with no HP because he potatoed on Danny. So it's all down to this 1v1 with Danny having no HP remaining and might die to the Legion trap in his leg unless he takes it out right now. So now it's all down to this Ella and her shotgun.
I think this is kind of... The health differential is too big, right?
Danny with about
He's-
1
he's
HP has to
sprinting!
plan. And then
That was just the
this
craziest
comp
round
game
I've seen.
is definitely a match I want to cast, because this is
Yeah.
awesome. We see the Blitz get the double kill, and then the Legion almost killing Danny just through pure attrition, and then the knife at the end of the round.
This is just... It's too fun. But they tie it up again. This is, for the
Some of the
most
best
part of this
Siege.
entire series, Boise State has been in a commanding lead at this point in the map. But now Iowa, the team Kings of Comeback, they're tying things up so far early on, and if they keep up this momentum, Boise State's going to have a real tough time trying to break through them. But they stick with the Habana, they stick with the Thermite, and they pick up the Sledge and the Gridlock this time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to 6-pick back to the knock from Hibana. See if he can give more value than he did last time with his 1 or 2 kills, I believe. So I'm curious to see how this now plays out for BSU.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
As we
They
see
got the knock
U of I,
again.
U of I changed up with the with the Rook now. So they got their armor now, just to absorb just a little bit more damage and see if
Got my
they'll be
hopes
able
up,
to
man.
withstand this Blitz melee that they feared last round, even though we don't got it no more.
Yeah, they got knocked this time though. So as long as if Danny can get in position like he has been able to do, and not get spotted out, we've seen him do work before. So I would be surprised that he wouldn't be able to do work again.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the attackers change up this time around.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Put the batteries down. It's time. Time to electrify.
It's time to defend. Yeah, because even Boise didn't go Thatcher this time. And they don't have the IQ to shoot it through the floor, so they have no way of dealing with those bandit traps. So I'm very curious to see how they attack this, as Sherb once again is repelling outside that main entrance and is going onto roof. We'll see if he gets another quad kill, but hopefully one of them is not his teammates.
Yeah, hopefully Fox stays dangerously away from this man. Good call.
His
This is a
own
really good
teammate.
time to drone, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You need to find out where if the enemy team has roamers, where they are, and how you can execute a plan to get rid of them. As we see this bandit actually hiding in the elevator.
Great place to hide. Good music.
Always the best music. And we see Castle looking for a peek through Skylight as he knows there's at least one member of BSU up there, but he quickly runs away. And we see Danny once again going through basement as this knock, seeing if he can get a pick onto the bandit like he did the previous round. He was knock.
We'll have to see as waiting for that entire gadget to recharge before I think moving up the stairs is the right call. You don't want it to end prematurely halfway through the walk itself, but again, we've seen this before. Boise State likes to take a little bit extra time to secure a plan. But with that being said, they then get pushed themselves into, they paint themselves into a corner where they only have a certain amount of time to get themselves out.
Yeah, Boise just letting this go down to a minute. Danny knows there's the bandit right there
my
and gets
goodness.
the headshot onto him. So that immediately puts the tide into BSU's favor as Danny is down to half
Goodness.
HP, but is doing quite well for his team so far. Down to a minute as Sherb gets a pick onto Kraken. I think I said that right. And they finally open up that wall
Kraken.
into a bomb site. Kraken. He's a Kraken, you know.
He's
You
a
just kind of
cricket.
slurring it's the Kraken.
Danny did take a lot of damage in that 1v1, and he's not healthy enough to maybe get a full engage. And I think Killafort is completely onto his shenanigans as he's looking almost the entire exact angle that Danny would be approaching from. But again, 27 seconds remain. Boise State needs to put their shoes into gear as they only have a certain amount of time left in this round.
Yeah, they got 20 seconds. They downed that rook with the
Oh my
nades,
goodness.
and Danny does
Danny!
manage to pick off that castle. So it's down to this Ella, who is not even on site, and the rook, who is down on site, as she begins to shoot at Sherb as he is rappelling off the roof and puts him down to 1 HP with her pistol. Juko does
got
get the
the
plan
plan.
off, though, pushing Ella into action to attack her own site.
A lot of
And
health.
also,
but-
this rook is still down on site, so...
Oh
and he's
my
taken out by
goodness.
the knock. A flawless round for Boise State.
And Danny getting, I think, a 3-piece here? The knock, again, just too stealthy.
yeah. Yeah, Danny getting a lot of value out of that knock on this bank map with their 2 roamers just not having the awareness of where he's coming from, even though he's came from basement every time.
Gotta be careful, and I wonder if they run it again. Yes, the knock is going to come out, but what does Iowa need to do in preparation, not only just for the knock, but for the rest of what Boise State's trying to do here? Is the Valkyrie the right call?
I mean, it's more cams, but her ability does disorient her figure in the camera, so you wouldn't be able to see her. And we do see them also pick the Echo for even more camera action, but it looks like they're even going to pick the
Legion
Valkyrie
again.
away for the Legion. So rather than just visually see her and ping her where she is, they're just going to goo mine her and take away her ability to run. So I'm curious to see how this plays out for both sides here, as Boise State keeps the same team composition as last round.
I do wonder, with the lineup that Iowa Gold has currently, the Legion traps we've seen do a lot of damage, a lot of mitigation in terms of where points are accessible, but where are the Ella traps coming from? Where are the Ella traps being even placed?
Ella can place them wherever they are because they stick to any surface she throws them onto. She has a total of 3 of them, so usually you'll place them
Right.
around doorways or windows. And
Right.
we've seen it
Well,
used a couple times, but Ella needs to get more value herself rather than her gadget with this roaming, because we saw last round she didn't make it to site and was picked off by Danny.
Exactly, and as we can clearly see, there is a front runner in terms of performance for both teams, and it is that Danny themselves want to get their drones in a nice position. This is so disorienting.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially when you're rappelling outside on a wall and then go upside down and your controls are all like inverted and everything, and you're just like, wait, I'm looking at the ceiling? I thought that was the
Where am
floor.
I?
But
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Danny did get peeked a
that is
little bit,
something
I think.
firsthand. Yeah, so far, Danny actually took a little bit of poke damage as he's trying to enter in. I'm curious to see what he decides to do, as going through basement has maybe made the Iowa team a bit smart to it, with this Ella now holding second floor. And Fox knowing he's out there as he saw his little feetsies.
Fox is up there on the roof while Danny's looking for a nice quick in. But where is Sherb? Another fantastic and key player for Boise State is Sherb. And a lot of the time you would see him by that skylight, but I don't think he's opting for it this time.
Yeah, Sherb's been at the top of the leaderboard for this team the past 2 games at least. He's just been very commanding of this map as well with those skylights, but we have yet to see where he actually moved to. And so we see both Ultrasen and Juco push this door on this Ella and gets the grenade off on her too, as you see her panic run away, but was not fast enough.
Not fast enough. And again, we question whether or not this Ella is really getting a tremendous amount of value, where you can maybe pick someone who's a little bit easier in terms of roaming, maybe. I mean, they do have Rapton on dock, but what else could you play besides the Ella?
I mean, you could still play Ella. I'm just very surprised she takes the shotgun over her Scorpion, which has the highest rate of fire around. But we see Doc get the pick onto Sherb as he opened up that soft wall right above sight. And Danny then immediately takes down the Jaeger as Juco falls to the dock as well.
It's a good pick here from Iowa. They did get the diffuser to drop.
Yeah, Danny is down to below 10 HP, whereas Doc has control of the second story right now, even though the teams are even. You see Danny push up to the second floor, try to get rid of this Doc, who has taken out 2 of his teammates so far.
Attackers recovered the diffuser. 15 seconds left.
They're running out of time yet again.
Yeah, Boise State down to the last 10 seconds as they have to push site and plant. But we have both the Legion and Echo holding the 2 doors, as Boise State's just going to get timed out here and unable to plant in time.
The round immunity. It was a good play here from both sides, though. I mean, a little bit of a nice pick advantage given over to Iowa Gold, and they again continue to keep this series tied. This is not only a tie for this particular map, but this is the game deciding map specifically. Both teams both taking one away. Whoever wins this gets to take it all home, and both teams doing a phenomenal job. That's why we're at this 3-3 score.
Yeah, now we see Boise State on the defense after just going 3-3 with this Iowa team. And here we see the Smoke, Valkyrie, Echo, Cade, and Legion come out. So pretty trap and scout heavy, with the Smoke being able to deny whole areas for a few seconds, the Legion scouting people, the Valkyrie and Echo cams, and the Cade electricity on the basement site. We see Iowa go pretty much their same attacking team as we've seen in the past with the Thermite, Zofia, IQ, Twitch, and Capitao.
It's going to be interesting. Capitao can do a tremendous amount of work in small confined spaces, but it's really up to whether or not Boise State wants to be confined to those or not. We've seen them, even on defense, sending a lot of resources towards roaming and doing it successfully. So with the smoke pickup, something that we haven't really seen too much from the side of BSU. What are they intending on doing here? They're just trying to hole up around the points?
That'd be my assumption with it, or he's going to try to roam and just cordon off people to a certain area that he knows he can handle them in. But I wouldn't be surprised if I just see them go full hold in basement and make it work from there.
5 seconds left before insertion.
So you ain't see how this attack pans out for both teams, as we have not seen Iowa attack Boise on this map yet.
No, and as we've seen, they do a wonderful job when they are on that attacking side despite not being able to secure a comeback here in the second map, that first map was strictly because they were just a better attacking team.
Yeah, we did also see Twitch lost her first drone there, which means she only has one left, and that Legion is holding that room as he already took out one other drone, so they have one left in that room to scout out for them. As we see one of the members also repel above them. So they push out, she runs into the Legion Sharp, she knows he's there, she gets behind cover, she takes it out, but he knows she's there. So he's going to wait for them to push him possibly. He gets taken right out by the peak. So immediately
Battle of the
Boise State's
Peak.
on the back foot down one.
Loading new magazine.
Looks like Iowa's definitely just closing in on this Boise team, trying to push into A-bomb to plant. But Boise has that entire wall open, just scouting it out with their shotguns, able to just blow them away in a single shot.
Right.
So Iowa's going to have to pull something out here, and it looks like they're going to just thermite the wall into it and plant behind the desk.
Might be the right call. And they also have someone on first floor, I think, rotating from behind for roaming. So you gotta be careful because, again, they are eventually going to run out of time. Iowa's goal doing a phenomenal job, though, knowing that they only have so much sand in that dial, and they're doing a lot more proactive plays earlier on in the round than Boise State were, and it's certainly dividends. Another place for the side of Iowa Gold. Going to go for a fourth one, and only one member remains. Juco and a Flash is the only remaining member of Boise State alive, and he will falter as well. Iowa Gold getting a flawless round 7 under their belt.
Yeah, I think the main issue there was Sherb ran out as Valkyrie trying to get a pick for his team, but get picked immediately, and then Iowa, with that confidence, just pushed in and ran over the Boise defense on that site, just eliminating member after member after member.
And they did it with such quick fashion. I mean, there was over a minute left in the time bank, so they're making these decisive actions a lot earlier again than Boise State were when they were on the attacking side. But that just means that Boise State can adapt their team to be in a more controlling kind of comp. You have operators that really control the pace of the game in a more drastic way.
Yeah, and it looks like they're definitely going to do that with the Bandit and Jaeger here that they didn't run last round. And it looks like Iowa's also going to 6-pick that Jackal for Capito, as Boise did not run any roamers last round.
Right.
And then they're going second floor as well. So I'm curious to see how they plan to change it up for this second floor site rather than basement. Looks like they're going for more of a harder hold with how much they're reinforcing this soft walls around site, as well as Echo trying to hold supply closet even maybe with his yokai drones. Trying to take out the plant.
And that particular tile as well.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a peek. If they push through that window, he can take him out from supply closet. Hopefully win this run for his team.
Right. It's all a matter of... Wait a second, is that calendar always accurate? It showed
I
April.
don't believe so.
They don't update
Who
it,
knows?
you know,
Maybe it
as
is.
time progresses.
It-
Easter egg, everybody.
It's just
I want
being cheeky.
all of the viewers.
Hey.
That calendar, is that accurate all the time? Someone tell me. Someone tell me in the
You're a
Twitch
bit
chat
late for
right
that
now.
Easter egg because we're about, I don't know, a week away from Easter. Just a little bit off. A little bit.
Oh, come on. Easter eggs are year-round. Oh, my goodness. And that is a year-round
Jaeger.
pick for the side of Iowa Gold. Sherb gets instantly spotted and taken down. He does give over a fair amount of damage, but falters, and that just gives
Yeah,
a man
that IQ
advantage
just
over
took a
Iowa
lot
Gold.
of damage as well. She began to push in, so for losing a teammate, they did a lot of damage to the enemy team for it.
Yeah, almost a entire teammate's health bar, to be fair, but, I mean, you're still able to clutch up if you're alive.
That is for sure true as we wait to see what this Iowa attack strategy is, with Boise State holding true to their positions as Danny goes running through the basement trying to circle around and get a pick through stockroom as 2 members of Iowa are above on that stairway. See Zofia as well trying to get rid of those electricity traps so Thermite can breach through those reinforced walls. And we see him actually go down to Danny as the Capitao did not help his teammate and defend him. Danny running back through basement all the way around.
It's a fast little Danny right there, that one. They are going to get the
That's why
pickup.
he plays the 3 speed ones. He's poke and run.
But with everything settling here, a nice pickup from Danny. Another one. Getting one down and getting one secured this time. Look at the health totals for both of these teams now, Brenna Bear. This has gone from something that Iowa was very comfortable proceeding forward with to something they need to have to tiptoe with caution forward.
Yeah, IQ just lost the other half of her health bar now. Boise State playing very well, just holding their angles, not pushing. Danny being the only one who's aggressive so far, and he's the only one who's gotten a kill so far for their defending success so far. So I wouldn't see this playing out so well for Iowa as they slowly go in and go for the plant, but Boise actually does hear the plant and is able to just get him through the wall.
Did he do that through smoke too?
Yes, he did. Spray and pray, as Danny then gets the headshot onto the IQ, leaving 2 members of Iowa left, as Zofia had to push in but gets taken out.
Oh my goodness.
Boise State winning the round. Danny getting a quad, I believe, that round. No, he got a triple. He got a triple.
Look at this dude. Ultraset also getting that crucial through the wall, through the smoke pick was pretty big. And was almost as cool as what Danny just did. But to be fair, everyone was holding their angles, and like you were saying, Danny was free to operate and play the game he wants to. 13 eliminations. That's
compared to the rest of his team's 6-6-1-1. He is definitely doing a lot of work for this map. He's like Sherb in the past 2 maps as well, who's just carrying his team at this point.
He's got a big backpack. He might have got it from REI or Cabela's or something, but only ordered it online.
When you play with him, you have to pray to him.
The store.
Yeah, normally whenever you play with Danny, you're like, all right, we have to pray to Danny so we can pull out this win today. And it looks like he's actually going to 6-pick from Bandit to Pulse as well.
Holy cow. This could be really exciting. But, again, they have... It seems that Iowa wants to be doing something intentionally. They keep picking relatively the same operators. And even if the bomb sites change, they're still going it with the same intention. What is their plan of action? How do they run away with this map?
So for this site especially, I would see them taking control over second story, unlike they were before. They need to get more map control. Danny running around so freely, being able to get that triple kill as well, was crucial for Boise's victory in the previous round. He just kept them on their toes, constantly looking everywhere else rather than focusing on the bomb site and being able to siege it, plant, and get the win out of it. Because you saw at the last time, they kind of panicked after they smoked and went for the diffuser plant. He got picked off by Ultrascent on that Legion, which just solidified their victory in that round. So I want to see them play a little bit closer together and a lot more scouting on their end to find where Danny is and take him out of the fight.
What do you feel about a Vigil?
Vigil would be interesting. He would definitely not get scouted as well, but they would know he's in this general area. We haven't seen that from Boise yet. We've seen Iowa try to run it before, but we haven't seen Boise running it. So I'd be curious how they would play it then.
And with Danny switching over to Pulse, what is his intention? I mean, he was on someone he was very comfortable with beforehand. Why switch over to this Pulse here?
Probably because Boise wants more information on where the enemy team is engaging and where they could be planning to breach in. So we see him in basement right now looking straight up with his heartbeat since they're trying to find out where's this enemy team, where can I let my team know that they're engaging from this area so that I can get value for them roaming. And so it looks like he has probably scouted them out as he's run around through Vault, which is directly underneath, I believe, where they are breaching in. So I'm curious to see where they plan to do with this information as Doc
Oh
gets
my
quickly
goodness.
picked off by
gets Sherb
Riot
there.
Lime.
Riot Lime. Yeah,
Yeah.
Riot Lime gets the
Sherb
Sherb incredibly quickly. But what took out Killa for it?
We did not see that on our end. I was very curious who actually did that. But teams are even now, so we're back to where we started.
Right. A nice electrical wall as well, and a good call here from the drone. Nice spotting as well. Gotta be careful though not to alert yourself. Gotta
Yeah,
be
if Thermite's
sneaky.
lucky, he
Gonna
can
go for
look
maybe
through
a
this
wall shot
drone
here.
hole and might get his little
Bomb
feet
located by
here.
attackers.
But it looks like he's not able to, but he does give away his position. But they have no Thatcher, so I don't know what their plan is with this wall because they have no anti-electricity, with Kill Forte being the only Twitch to be able to get rid of those. As
Look at
Danny pushes
Danny.
up from
Look
supply
at this
closet,
flank
just
too.
commanding space right now.
And both Fear Knight as well as Kraken have, I think, no idea that Danny's behind them on the flank here.
And they did down Ultrasend, but with points turned off, they do not know that he is down, which allows for the Valkyrie to get him back up. As Fox finally takes out that Limelight who took out Ultrasend in the first place. So Boise State's +1,
nice
+2
shot.
now. Fox doing really well with this Echo right now, holding his angles as
Danny on the
Juco
flank
wings
again.
around with a C4 to the face.
And ew, boom.
And his
Sorry.
body's gone. Danny. Danny with that flank just made Iowa panic, and they had to push, and it cost him the round.
Yep.
He's up to 15
He really
now.
did. He really did shepherd them into a position where they weren't comfortable because, as you saw, both Fear Knight and Kraken were comfortable holding that wall until they were able to then make the decision of, okay, where do we go from here? Danny, the ticking time bomb, said, guys, you better move or I'm going to get you. And it did, and he got him. And this means that Boise State, hopefully for the foreseeable future, have a round lead, and they hope to extend that here, picking up the Wame this time instead. Wame, Jaeger, Smoke, Echo, and Valkyrie. But on the other side, we see the terrible trio, the Blackbeard, Thatcher, and Thermite. So this is going to be a very different game from the side of Iowa.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bomb.
It's pronounced Wamai.
Wame.
Yeah,
Wamai.
it's okay though. It was just funny. Yeah, and also we see Danny go back to the smoke, which prevents the enemy from pushing through a certain door, which they've been doing their entire attacking time. They pick one Thermite spot to go in, and then if Danny throws a smoke on there, for them to push in, they're going to lose quarter HP or even more just to get onto site. And even after that, Danny's going to be watching that angle where he threw it, so he's going to get that pick on him. So with this Blackbeard, I'm curious if they're going to play a little bit slow and methodically
5 seconds
to
remaining.
try to scout Danny out and get a win for their team.
Attackers must locate.
What can
and
I say?
defuse the bomb.
Beards equal wins. That's what they say. That's what I say. I just said that. Interesting. They're going to go through this tunnel again, and I think that possibly Boise's aware of this. Killer Fort's
Yeah,
gonna
Boise
creep
has
forward
a
little
lot
bit.
of scouting capability with both the Valkyrie and the Echo. So if they haven't scouted this, they're going to soon with Iowa droning it out. So I'm curious how this will end with the Blackbeard slowly
located by
pushing through
attackers.
with his rifle shield. He could possibly get pecked off, but it looks like he owns the room right now. As no members of Boise State are around, they're just holding bomb. So we don't know where. Both Danny coming down the stairs.
And he's got to be
This
super
could
careful
end
here.
poorly for somebody.
They're watching that door too.
He sees the drone to his right, so he knows people are there too, so he's backing up. As Blackbeard's holding that angle, waiting for him to peek his head around. High tensions right now for both teams. As Juco's actually getting some
Juco, oh my
very
goodness.
good damage onto the Thermite, getting him below quarter HP. If he's able to take out that Thermite, that will drastically change Iowa's attack with no hard breacher. Playing very slow.
Sure, we get as much information as possible here.
Yeah, getting value out of these Valkyrie cameras, seeing 2 members of Iowa just sitting in garage, being slow and methodical. As they do scout them out with the drone as well. So I'll have to see who wins this confrontation.
Sherba's in a dangerous position as well until he gets some backup because he is going to have to maybe run through both Riot Lime as well as Rapton. But look at this other side. The 3-man deep. They're going to maybe go for a defuse here. No, they're not. They don't have the time to do so.
Yeah, Danny is going to be the key player here as he's holding those stairs. They never pushed him out of sight. They're still droning, so now they know he's there. He's going to have to run all the way around as those 3 members of Iowa have to push on the bomb site against Juco.
He's already gone.
The sight line. And see the Wamai getting value as well, as this IQ and Zofia are just pushing aggressively. But we see Juco get the first,
Oh my
and Danny get the
goodness.
second with the smoke, and Juco getting another one. All 3 members of that Iowa attack team from Dirt Tunnel just get annihilated by Juco and Danny. Sure,
Oh,
picking
through
up
the barrier,
the last
too.
Zofia, so it's all down to IQ, who doesn't even have the diffuser and is against all 5 members of Boise.
10 seconds left.
And
Oh!
just taken out by Danny for a flawless round from Boise
A
State.
full flawless. And you have to question, they were so eager to be proactive in their early stages of the round, but then got completely halted by Danny holding that stairway. Why didn't they choose the decisive action to go forward and challenge that particular staircase and then continue to develop the rest of the bottom stage of that basement? But with that all being considered, the performance from both teams has been phenomenal. Boise State gets themselves to match point. If they are able to stuff this attempt from University of Iowa, the comeback kings so far in the series, they will walk away with this.
Yeah, and we even saw there Kill Forte teased you with the line for about 2 seconds before immediately going to Blackbeard. So
I know.
looks
I
like
didn't want
we
to
will
mention
not see
it.
a line if Boise State pulls out a win here, and they're going to 6-pick that Jaeger into Omai, and we're going to see the 6-pick
picked
sludge into
Wamaway.
IQ.
Just gonna butcher it even more so now.
Just keep butchering his name more and more and more. Wami!
Wamai.
Wamay.
Wamai.
Defenders
He's
protect your
Wamay.
bombs from being defused by
I'll
attackers.
just
Wamay.
go around saying sorry.
Sorry. Wamai. Is there anything interesting about
why
the
people hate
you
fighting
talked
him again
about-
so much? Because people hate fighting May.
Why do people hate May? I don't understand.
Wrong game. Come on now. Alright, so it looks like Boise went for the second floor admin office again. Curious to see.
Is there anything weird as far as what they set up for reinforcements? Because I know
10
you've
seconds.
mentioned before, when they go heavy on these sort of wall reinforcements, they have a bit of a more anchored approach, but Boise State seems to be a team that thrives when they're able to flex around that kind of anchor.
Oh, we actually see a peek
Nice peek,
onto the
Alex.
Sophia, so Boise getting a little bit cheeky against this team, possibly. Finally pulling out a peek that we haven't seen since last matchup. So I'm curious where this will lead for us, as Sophia's already at half HP.
And Sophia
But
being
with
at
the
half
hard
HP might be...
Yeah,
Go ahead.
detrimental.
It could be bad, but with Iowa, I think they've just completely conceded that point of attack, and they've gone with a different plan. If you were Iowa right now, and you were the shot caller for rotations, what would you say to your team is what we need to do from this point forward?
Definitely clear basement and first floor and make sure Danny is not roaming. He has been a huge playmaker against the team, and so you need to have that insurance. And it looks like they're going for a full push onto A as they get a pick onto
A bomb
Ultra
has
Set
been located.
with that IQ. So that removes the Maestro. So now they know that if we go into site, we're not going to be poked down by his evil eye cameras. The only issue they have right now is if they push onto site, where are the enemies from we're pushing? They're all repelling outside. If one member of Boise State was to go into lobby right now, he could take out 2-3 members of Iowa. And with only a
That
minute
could be where
30
Danny's
remaining,
at.
some moves are going to have to be made right now. Yeah, not droning out enough has been kind of an issue for this Iowa team so far. We see Fox looking around on his yokai drones, trying to scout where the enemy team is coming from, as we see at least this IQ and Thermite pushing to get this reinforced wall out of their way. And Sherb does manage to get rid of that Blackbeard. So teams are evened up, keeping another close match between these two teams.
And they are moving in position as
pushing
well.
Danny, as Danny is not looking towards the window and is getting
Oh my
picked
goodness!
off. There goes Wamay. So then, leaving Fox to also get picked off by Kraken. Kraken coming back into the fold, as Sherb then takes out their Zofia, who is already at half
Located by
HP.
attackers.
So it's a 2v2
Wait.
here, as Juco makes it even. Coming down to the wire with 30 seconds left.
This can't be.
This matchup has been nothing but great for these two teams.
Can Boise State do it, though? Do they have the ability to stop the aggression from Iowa Gold? There's only 15 seconds left. They need to both make decisive actions now, and they're going for the diffuser. It is planted.
Oh, Juco gets the C4 onto Sherb! So it's down to the last 1v2, and he gets taken out by the IQ.
Oh, you
What
hate
is
to
happening?
see it. Oh, you hate to
First Sherb
see it.
kills Fox, now Juco kills Sherb? Alright.
It's all good. It's karmic balance. But with Iowa able to go ahead and tie that up, now Boise State absolutely has to win this to take this away, because you have to win by 2. And it has to be the first one to 7. If Iowa can take this away, it's the 6-6. Then Boise State has to go to 8, and so on and so forth. It's them again being the clutch kings. At that
Yeah, so if they don't win here, they'll probably have to go to
Predator.
attacking at that point. So if they go to attacking, then can they pull that out, win again? Because Iowa was doing well with defense as well. So I'm curious to see if they can't hold this defense here now with the Rook over the previous Wamai that they've been running as well. I'm curious what happens here. And we also see Iowa go Ash and Thatcher as they've been running. So I'm curious, with the extra speed of Ash and the armor of Rook, will that even each other out?
Defenders, protect
It's
your
going to
bombs
be a
from
tough
being
call.
used by
And with
attackers.
this particular bomb site, are we going to see Iowa do the same plan of attack? Are they going to hang out grappling on the side of these walls? Do they give
I
Danny
don't
the
think
opportunity to
they'll
rotate
Your
again?
bomb.
I think I will probably try the same strat they ran on this bomb site last time, which is push into that small room and try to get the engage. But their key here needs to be finding Danny, as Danny forced them into pushing bomb site and lose the round by coming around as Pulse and just saying, if you don't push, I'm gonna push you. And so if they can secure map control outside of bomb site, I don't see why Iowa can possibly lose.
Attackers' objective
But
is to defuse a bomb.
with the factor of them not being as droning as they should, and with the increased armor from Rook and the visuals from both Valkyrie and Echo, I'm really interested to see how this plays out for both teams.
Again, this is do or die. If Boise State can clutch this round, they will take not only the map, but the entire series. But alternatively, the comeback kings, Iowa Gold, these fantastic Hawkeyes, if they can tie this up, it creates so much more of a barrier for Boise State's success.
And if Boise State can manage around where they don't team kill each other, they should definitely have this in the bag.
That is a pretty big barrier, actually.
So it looks like Iowa's pushing through main lobby, as they usually actually haven't before, and we see both the Ultrascent on Cade and Fox on Echo looking towards that, with Echo's drones actually in lobby. So if they scout this, they should be able to tell where Iowa's coming from. But also we have Kraken in the rear with Danny also looking towards him, as Kraken has taken out Danny in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if these two have maybe even a rivalry. And we also saw Danny get droned out, so Kraken should know that he's there. So with this attack, I'm very interested to see how this split pushing happens with Thatcher no longer with his thermite, so they can't just Thatcher blow it up. And they have the Echo scouting as they go for that small room once again,
Bomb located by
as I said. They do open up that wall. Danny is still holding outside. He has the pressure right now. They need to watch out for him. He is going to be the
Shit damage
playmaker
going on
of
from here
this
tonight,
series
too.
for sure.
Oh
we
my
see-
goodness.
Member of Boise State shot in the back as immediately Iowa gets the upper hand and puts the pressure onto Boise as they have control of B site as of the moment. As Boise State's just holding angles and Rook goes down from main lobby to the Zofia. Iowa pulling this one out right now. Fox gets a return onto the Zofia, but Thermite's getting the plant right now. So it puts a lot of pressure onto Boise as they get the plant, and Danny does finally come out of hiding and gets a double onto Iowa, getting a lot of pressure as Fox is still on A-bomb with Kraken holding in the corner. Gets
How
taken
does
out.
he
Nobody's
do
on
it?
Diffuser. It's all up to this Ash if she can defend Diffuser against the last two members of Boise State with Danny at half health, but he takes it out, so Iowa loses to Boise State not controlling that Danny.
Defenders disabled the diffuser.
Wow.
Bomb defusing attempt failed. Defenders win.
Boise State
Iowa
struggling
State,
to
I
find
just-
an edge. We're able to
They
clutch it
just
up.
got collapsed on. They never scouted out Danny. They had no idea where he was. He just came up from behind and took them all out. Iowa just got cold feet and just started hiding in a corner.
Well, it's insane. It's crazy, but for those that are just joined, this was the final match, but to get here, Boise State had to struggle through the first entire map, having a 5-1 lead against Iowa, and then University of Iowa comes back, takes the entire map, bringing them to map 2. Boise State, in a do-or-die situation, is able to take a very early lead and not relinquish it. And then for the final map here that we just witnessed, it was back and forth. Both teams keeping it a tie game until Boise State could barely ink out a lead and get that +2 advantage to secure not only the map win, but the entire series win as well. Boise State versus University of Iowa. I look very much forward to seeing these two face off again.
That was a great matchup by both sides for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely neck and neck, left and right. We see counters, team kills, shields, memes. It was a great time. And the Clash.
We saw
fam.
Clash.
That's all I wanted.
We saw Clash and Blitz, and it was all fine.
It was all around just a great series to cast, that's for sure.
And I wouldn't do it with anyone else. Brenda Bear,
Aw.
it's been wonderful to have you. I look forward very much to casting with you again. If I do remember, we have next Friday on the books, actually. So that's
Yes,
the
we
thing.
do. I'm
And,
not sure who we're up against, but I'm very excited to see how it goes. Thank you for keeping the energy up, and I hope we can cast again then.
I love screaming at things, but not only have we enjoyed ourselves here at this Boise State esports broadcast, you folks at home, I think you've had a pretty good time. I've seen you watching in the Tits chat. I know what's going on. You guys are hyping up too. So if you want to see more of this content, feel free to subscribe, follow, hit the exclamation point free sub, and see if you got a subscription available, as your subscriptions not only help this particular program, but help fund scholarships across the board. We are going to be going home from our homes, because we're currently home, and taking some break. Maybe I'll log on some Rainbow Six Siege myself and play some games. We hope to see you there. And next Friday, check the schedule, see what's going on. You guys have a fantastic night. From Baratel to Brenner Bear to the Boise State production crew, you guys all stay safe out there.